Chapter 527. With that, he walked to the last row and sat down. Although he was a little far from Su Chuxia, he could still see her. Xiao Chang's appearance was not very outstanding. He was a little ordinary, and his self-introduction was very simple. Therefore, most people treated him like air, and did not pay attention to him. They went about their own business. It was time for class. This was Teacher Chen's language class. Xiao Chen was a straight-A student, so he already knew these things by heart. He did not need to pay much attention, so his attention was on Su Chuxia. Su Chuxia did not feel anything, but Tian Souring, who was beside her, was a sensitive girl. She felt that someone was staring in their direction, so she turned around and met Xiao Chen's gaze. She immediately glared at Xiao Chen. Then she turned around and said to Su Chuxia, "Chuxia, that Xiao Chang is peeking at you from behind." "Oh, how do you know he's not looking at you?" Su Chuxia asked nonchalantly. Guys are like this. In their eyes, a delinquent girl like me is the feisty type. Only those hooligans and ruffians would like me. An innocent beauty like you is the killer of these otakus. Tian Souring said. "Who told you to dress like this?" Su Chuxia said. "I'm mixed blood. My skin color is like this. It's not good to dress up like a lady." Tian Souring said. Aya, don't talk about me. I think this guy is really infatuated. He actually transferred thousands of miles here just to see you. Is it as scary as you say? Zoning City is very far away, right? How could it be for me? Su Chuxia shook her head. Why not? Just now, he was saving the damsel in distress at the class gate. Kai Wuliang was pestering you. So he stood up for you, and said that Kai Wuliang bumped into him at the school gate. How is that possible? He transferred here from another city, and it was his first day at school. When he came, the class was probably not over yet. Where did Kai Wuliang bump into him? Tian Souring analyzed. Is that so? Su Chuxia pouted slightly. It seemed to make sense. Does this Xiao Chang like me? But sigh. Kai Wuliang was probably going to send him to the hospital. Then after class, go and remind him that it's impossible between him and I. Don't let him think about these unrealistic things, and get taught a lesson by Kai Wuliang again. Haha, okay, I love doing this. Unlike Su Chuxia, who had a cold personality, Tian Souring was a bold girl who loved excitement. After one class, Xiao Chen was bored to death as he took out his mobile phone. He planned to tell Song Huawu and the others that he had successfully enrolled in school. Unexpectedly, a fragrant wind assaulted his nostrils, and a small waist appeared in front of him. Xiao Chen looked up and saw that it was Tian Souring. This girl actually sat on his table, looking at the short skirt and black stockings in front of him. Xiao Chen swallowed his saliva. How could this girl be so bold? How dare you sit on the table dressed like this? Aren't you afraid of being exposed? Hey, Xiao Chang, right? Tian Souring looked down at Xiao Chen from above. She saw that he was holding a phone that she did not recognize. It was obvious that it was a counterfeit phone. She could not help but shake her head and said, "You like Su Chuxia, right?" Huh. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. He was a little curious as to how Tian Souring came to such a conclusion. "Stop pretending," Tian Souring said. "Sister Souring, I know a little otaku like you too well. One look from you, and I can tell how many times you masturbated at night." Cough, cough, cough. Xiao Chen thought that this Tian Souring was really tough. He did not know how Su Chuxia became good friends with her. The two of them had completely different personalities. Alright, Sister Souring is very busy. I came to you mainly to tell you something. That is, give up on Chuxia as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will die a very tragic death. Tian Souring looked at Xiao Chen with a horrified expression and said, "Do you remember? When you have time, you can look at Sister Souring more and fantasize about masturbating. Sister Souring doesn't mind, but please don't have any ideas about Chuxia." Xiao Chen was a little speechless. He did not know what to say. He looked at Tian Souring and said, "Remember, I won't have any ideas about her. Can I have any ideas about you?" In any case, Xiao Chen thought that it would be good if he could get close to Su Chuxia. Since Su Chuxia was not easy to get close to, he could get close to Tian Souring. It seemed that Tian Souring was easy to talk to. Can you afford a big plane? Can you afford a big villa? Can you bring your sister Suruan to the gold-consuming commercial building to buy some goods? Tian Suruan looked at Xiao Chun and said, So don't even think about it. Young man, just focus on masturbating. Stop daydreaming. Xiao Chun looked at the valiant Tian Suruan and was speechless. He thought to himself, I won't bring you there even if I can afford it. You're too arrogant. Sister Suruan, let's go. I'll show you my back. Tian Suruan jumped down from the table and went back. But looking at her from the back, Tian Suruan's figure was really good. But Xiao Chun didn't think of hitting her. What Xiao Chun was thinking was that Tian Suruan looked like she was easy to get along with on the surface. But in reality, she was the kind of girl who kept people at arm's length. A few words from her would be enough to kill off any pursuers. If not for the fact that Xiao Chun had everything, he would probably be devastated. He would go home and cry for a while before turning on his computer and masturbating. Suruan, did you talk to him? Su Chuxia asked when she saw that Tian Suruan had returned. Yes, I did, Tian Suruan said. Then he agreed? Su Chuxia asked. Yes, he agreed. I told him to go home and masturbate by himself. Otakus are all like this. They have the heart but no guts, Tian Suruan said. Oh, Su Chuxia blushed slightly and did not say anything else. After the third period, it was the exercise break. The students all walked out of the classroom to do the exercises. Xiao Chun did not know how to do the exercises. The exercises in New Moon Academy were different from those in Songming. He followed the crowd outside and planned to put on an act. He did not expect to be stopped by someone when he reached the classroom door. It was Kai Wuliang, whom he saw in the morning. At this moment, there were two thugs behind him, who were dressed like ruffians. They were staring at Xiao Chun like a tiger watching its prey. Brat, wait up. Don't go. Kai Wuliang had a toothpick in his mouth and looked at Xiao Chun with a cocky expression. Xiao Chun was a little speechless. Why did he come looking for trouble? Why did a school bully come looking for trouble when he went to a school? He could not even keep a low profile and be a quiet pretty boy. He was really speechless. What's the matter? Xiao Chun asked. F***CK. You're still asking me if I'm fine? You ruined my good time this morning, and you're still asking me? Kai Wuliang's face darkened. He glared at Xiao Chun and said to his two thugs, Hold him up and take him to the rooftop. I'll let this country bumpkin know who has the final say in this school. Kai Wuliang also had an insider in grade 12 class 9. He found out that Xiao Chong was a new transfer after asking around. Kai Wuliang did not care about this kind of student at all. These silly losers thought that they could turn the tables on the goddess just because they were in the same class as Su Chuxia. Kai Wuliang wanted to let them know that the goddess did not belong to losers. At this moment, Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan happened to walk out of the classroom. When they saw Kai Wuliang's two thugs going to hold Xiao Chong, Tian Suruan immediately rushed over. He gave Xiao Chen a look and said, Kai Wuliang, what's the meaning of this? Are you bullying our classmate? Tian Suruan, this has nothing to do with you. This is a personal grudge between us. Kai Wuliang saw that Tian Suruan was here again and felt depressed. F***CK. If not for the fact that I don't want to leave a bad impression on Su Chuxia, I would have found a place with no one around and F***CK you. Look at your slutty face. You're definitely not a good person. I don't know what Su Chuxia is thinking, to actually be best friends with you. Kai Wuliang knew that Su Chuxia had a background. Previously, when Xiao Meng from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was exposed, it was thanks to Kai Wuliang. Kai Wuliang wanted to direct and act out a hero saving the damsel in distress. Xiao Meng thought that there was an accident, so he rushed out and beat him up. Then, Kai Wuliang realized that Su Chuxia actually had bodyguards protecting her in secret. He knew that he could not use force on this girl. Kai Wuliang, Xiao Chong has already said that he will not pursue Su Chuxia. When he gets home tonight, he will fantasize about Sister Suruan masturbating, so he won't get in your way. After Tian Suruan finished speaking, he patted Xiao Chun and said, Right? Right. Xiao Chun didn't know whether to laugh or cry, although he wasn't afraid of this Kai Wuliang. Since Tian Suruan helped him out of trouble, There was no need for him to fight to the death with Kai Wuliang. Alright, since you admit defeat, then apologize to me. I'll forget about what happened this morning. Kai Wuliang saw that Tian Suruan had already said so he didn't say anything else. Forget about the apology. I don't have the habit of apologizing to people, Xiao Chen said indifferently. Since the matter has been settled, I'll go to the exercise break. After he finished speaking, Xiao Chen turned around and left, ignoring Kai Wuliang. Su Chuxia frowned and felt a little unhappy. She felt that Xiao Chang was too good at pretending. Tian Suruan had already helped him out of trouble, and he just needed to apologize and everything would be fine. In this case, all that was said before would be for nothing. Kai Wuliang would definitely teach him a lesson. Not bad, kid. You sure run fast. This is a school building. I'll let you off for now. If you have the guts, don't leave the classroom at noon, Kai Wuliang said fiercely as he watched Xiao Chen run away. Then, he turned his head and looked at Su Chuxia. Chuxia, let's go to the exercise break together? I'll go by myself. I thought you guys don't go to the exercise break in the 4th year of high school? Su Chuxia said coldly, and pulled Tian Suruan away. A look of desire flashed across Kai Wuliang's face. You will be mine sooner or later. Su Chuxia took 2 steps and said to Tian Suruan. Didn't you tell Xiao Chang? Why is he like this? Who knows? Heroes have a weakness for the charms of a beautiful woman. Maybe he was confused when he saw you. Then, he started to pretend again in the heat of the moment. Tian Suruan said, How troublesome. Sister Suruan, I've already done my best. If he gets beaten up again, I can only help him call an ambulance. Chapter 528. That's not very good. After all, it started because of me. Although Su Chuxia felt that Xiao Chen was very good at pretending, she was a little worried when she thought that it might be because of her in the end. So she said, Why don't you go and take a look at noon? Alright, Sister Sour, I'm a little hero who puts out the fire. Tian Sour said weakly. I originally wanted to go out and eat delicious food at noon. I heard that an open-fire barbecue shop opened near the school. It looks good. Don't look at me. I don't have money. Su Chuxia said. Chuxia, I heard that you just received your pocket money this month? Tian Sour looked like she was drooling. No, I want to buy review materials, watch movies and play video games. It's not enough. Every time you go to eat barbecue, you eat hundreds. If you want to eat, I'll take you to the 38th place barbecue buffet next time. Su Chuxia said vigilantly. The buffet is not delicious. What can I eat at 38? It's all chicken and duck meat. I'll get sick of it if I eat too much. Tian Sour said discontentedly. Then you can spend your own money, Su Chuxia said. Sigh, it's not like you don't know Sister Sour's current situation. I'm down and out. Tian Sour looked miserable. Back then Sister Sour drove a Ferrari. You were rich and willful. Su Chuxia rolled her eyes at Tian Sour. Whose sister are you? You're a few months younger than me. Hee, I'm used to it. Tian Sour smiled and said, I heard that the open-fire barbecue is really delicious. The advertisement outside looks tempting. There's the best snowflake meat. The best doesn't eat anything. Su Chuxia knew that the plate of the best snowflake meat was usually 98 or 180. Tian Sour, this little girl, could eat 4 or 5 plates by herself. If she went with her, she would go bankrupt directly. Alright. Tian Sour could only give up. Sai, tell me, how good would it be if you agreed to Kai Wuliang? That silly rich guy's family has money. I can eat and drink every day. I can ask him to give you a Ferrari and drive it for me every day. Then you agree to it. Su Chuxia interrupted Tian Sour. Is there a best friend like you? Exchanging me for money? I'm just joking. That Xiao Chang today seemed to be quite honest. But he didn't seem to have much money. So I couldn't bear to cheat him, Tian Swan said sourly. Otherwise, I'll ask him to treat me to a meal, and secretly tell him some information about you. When the time comes, I'll just spout some nonsense. When he treats you to dinner and Kai Wuliang sees it, he'll beat him to death. Don't cheat him. Su Chuxia shook her head. Xiao Chen walked to the back of the line of grade 12 class 9 students. The people in front of him probably had a fixed position every day, so he did not want to stand around randomly. Just as he stood still, Xiaochen saw a ball rolling towards him. Of course, it was a meatball. Why did he call it a meatball? Because this person was really too fat. Running from afar, he looked like a ball. Xiaochen was shocked and quickly dodged to the side. He was afraid that this fatty would not be able to stop in time and crash into him again. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that although this guy was fat, he was very agile. In front of Xiaochen, he stopped with a creak. He looked at Xiaochen and chuckled. "Brother, you're new, right?" And yes. Xiaochen nodded and was a little puzzled. "Didn't I introduce myself before?" "Oh, I went to the toilet. I didn't go to class. I just finished." The fatty scratched his head and said, "What's your name? What are you doing here? Why did you transfer to class 9? Are you here to chase after Su Chuxia?" Puffed. Xiaochen was stunned by the fatty's words. "Why? Are all the people who transfer here to chase after Su Chuxia?" "Almost. More or less. If they wanted to take the exam, they wouldn't have come to class 9. Class 9 is considered an average class. When they first entered the school, they were randomly assigned. There was nothing they could do about it. But after they transferred over, they had the right to choose their class. Most of the students who wanted to take the exam would go to class 5 or 7. Those two are recognized as good classes." The fatty shrugged and almost lost his head. "So you are most likely here to chase after Su Chuxia." Okay. Xiaochen did not deny it. Thinking that his mission was to get close to and protect Su Chuxia, he simply admitted it. "Yes, you are right. Then do I have a chance?" "No." The fatty shook his head directly and dealt a blow to Xiaochen. "Why?" Xiaochen asked with a smile. "Because Su Chuxia didn't want to have a boyfriend in high school," said the fatty. Xiaochen was a little speechless. "What kind of reason is this? How do you know?" "Hey, you don't know, right? I'm Su Chuxia's brother." The fatty looked at Xiaochen proudly and said, "What? You are her brother?" Xiaochen looked at the fatty in shock. Why didn't the information say this? Logically speaking, Su Chuxia has a brother in the same class. Shouldn't the information mention it? Hee hee, how is it? Do you want to please me? The fatty nodded. When he smiled, his eyes were gone, and he looked more like a ball. Ugh. May I ask what is this brother's name? Xiaochen probed. This person's information is not in the information, but he said that he is Su Chuxia's brother. Is there a problem? My name is Li Yuanxiu, said the fatty. Sure enough, you live up to your name. Xiaochen sighed. My name is Xiaochong. Same here. I am a ball, and you are Xiaochong. We are both the same. Li Yuanxiu said. But I am the Yuanxiu that means Yuanxiu. And who would be called Yuanxiu? Xiaochen smiled, but he thought in his heart, I have never heard of this person. Li Yuanxiu? Su Chuxia's brother? Cousin. As they were talking, Kai Wuliang came over with his two underlings. Although it was not good for him to make a move during the interval exercise, he could still scare Xiaochen. Aya, where is the interval exercise? Go. This is the last time. You won't be able to move tomorrow. Kai Wuliang bit the toothpick and looked at Xiaochen with a playful face. Enjoy it. Tomorrow, you will feel that moving is a luxury. Kai Wuliang, what do you mean? Li Yuanxiu looked at Kai Wuliang and said, Give me some face. This brother is now my friend. I have already told him that there is no hope between him and Su Chuxia. He also agreed. Why are you still looking for trouble with him? Li Yuanxiu, if you don't know what is going on, then shut up. Kai Wuliang pointed at Xiaochen and said, This little guy was acting cool with us. I asked him to apologize to me, but he turned around and left. If I don't kill him, how can I, Kai Wuliang, survive in school? When the time comes, won't others think that my words are useless? Kai Wuliang, don't talk about that. Do you still want to pursue my sister? If you want to pursue her, then give me your brother-in-law some face. Li Yuanxiu said, My face is useless, so what? Fatty Li, you really don't have much of a reputation. Your sister? Ask Su Chuxia if she recognizes you as her brother? Didn't you grow up in the same courtyard as her? When she called you brother when she was young, do you really think that you are her brother? Don't be shameless. Kai Wuliang spat a mouthful of phlegm and said, Let me tell you, Li Yuanxiu, I occasionally give you some face, because you can help me provide some of Su Chuxia's hobbies. But if you want to follow others, you are still far from it. Li Yuanxiu's face was a little red. Obviously, Kai Wuliang didn't give him face, and made him feel a little embarrassed. In school, he still had some power because of his identity as Su Chuxia's brother. He didn't expect Kai Wuliang to not give him face today. Forget it, Li Yuanxiu. I will see what he can do to me. He thinks that he is the Prince of Lollipop, just because he has a toothpick in his mouth. Xiao Chun waved his hand indifferently. Li Yuanxiu looked at Xiao Chun strangely. Is this guy not afraid of being beaten up? Why is he so calm? However, since things had come to this point, Li Yuanxiu also knew that his words were useless. He could only say, Kai Wuliang, then just teach him a lesson. Hit him lightly. Okay. I promise not to beat him to death. Kai Wuliang laughed, turned around and left. After Kai Wuliang left, Li Yuanxiu said with some depression, I say brother, are you stupid? Do you know who this Kai Wuliang is? Who? Xiao Chun said strangely. Isn't he just a school bully? He is a school bully, but his family is very powerful in Lan City. It is an aristocratic family in Lan City. Do you know about aristocratic families? Said Li Yuanxiu. I have heard of them. Xiao Chun nodded. He didn't expect Kai Wuliang to have some power. However, Xiao Chun didn't put an aristocratic family in his eyes. Even if it was the Jingwu aristocratic family, Xiao Chun didn't care. Then do you know that Kai Wuliang has been practicing martial arts since he was young? His skills are very good. Li Yuanxiu said, Brother, look at you. You should have learned a few moves, right? But compared to those who have been practicing martial arts since they were young, we can't do it. You listen to me. When the time comes, it won't be embarrassing to apologize to him. It's better than being put in the hospital. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't think he can beat me to death. Xiao Chun smiled. AI, why don't you listen to me? Li Yuanxiu shook his head helplessly. It seems that I have one less friend. What about your previous friend? Asked Xiao Chun strangely. Just like you, he was sent to the hospital. He hasn't come out yet. He has been lying in bed for half a year. Li Yuanxiu said, I think you and I hit it off quite well. I didn't expect you to be a bad *SS. Xiao Chun felt that this Li Yuanxiu was a good person. It was just that he was a little worried. After finishing the exercises and returning to the classroom, Xiao Chun found out that Li Yuanxiu was sitting next to him. Their desks were separated by an aisle. This class was physics. Xiao Chun also knew it. He casually read a book, reviewed it, and mixed in with the class. After class, Tian Suanan came again. Xiao Chang, I heard that you just provoked Kai Wuliang again? Tian Suanan sat on Xiao Chun's desk and looked at Xiao Chun condescendingly. In front of Xiao Chun's eyes were two beautiful legs swaying back and forth. Chapter 529. Xiao Chun glanced at Li Yuanxiu. Seeing that he was holding his phone, Xiao Chun guessed that Li Yuanxiu was probably texting Tian Suruan. No, he wanted to have a duel with me at noon. A duel at the top of the school, Xiao Chun said. I saw that he was quite sincere. He looked for me a few times, so I reluctantly agreed. Xiao Chang, will you die if you don't show off? Your sister Suruan won't fall for this. There's no use in bragging. Tian Suruan said. Li Yuanxiu is right. If you don't want to be beaten to death, you should talk to Kai Wuliang. The two of us will help you. Thank you, but I've already agreed. I can't go back on my word. Why don't you talk to Kai Wuliang and ask him to admit defeat? Xiao Chun said with a smile. You. Tian Suruan was so angry that she wanted to kick Xiao Chun's crotch. She glared at him and said, Oh right, what does your family do? Do you have some background? I do some small business. Xiao Chun said. What's wrong? Nothing. Why don't you treat me to barbecue at noon? I'll give you a chance, but it'll cost a few hundred. Do you have money? Tian Suruan said after thinking for a while. Sure, I'll treat you after I beat Kai Wuliang. Xiao Chun felt that Tian Suruan was a good person. He was quite helpful. And he also wanted to get close to Su Chuxia. Tian Suruan was speechless. Why was this person so stubborn? She jumped down from the table and went back. How is it? Su Chuxia asked. He won't listen to me. He's so stubborn. Tian Suruan sighed. Sister Suruan can only help him this much. Sigh. Su Chuxia sighed. She had no right to ask others not to like her. She could only try to reduce the damage. However, he didn't listen, so she couldn't do anything. To be honest, this Xiao Chang was so silly. Why didn't he listen to her? Go and keep an eye on him at noon. Don't let Kai Wuliang hit him too hard. My words don't carry much weight. Why don't you go as well? Tian Suruan said. Oh, okay. Su Chuxia nodded. In the blink of an eye, it was lunchtime. Kai Wuliang was afraid that Xiao Chen would run away, so he had been waiting at the entrance of the classroom. When he saw that Xiao Chen was still there, he laughed. Xiao Chang, let's go to the rooftop. Oh, all right. Let's go. Let's finish this quickly. Then, I'll treat Tian Soran to a meal, said Xiao Chen. Pfft. You still want to go eat? Let's go to the hospital to eat. Kai Wuliang burst into laughter the moment he heard that. And the two lackeys behind him also laughed wildly. Xiao Chen ignored him and walked out of the classroom, heading upstairs. The rooftop of the school had to be accessed from the 4th floor. The entrance was in the restroom on the 4th floor. You could only go up when there was no one around. Otherwise, if you told the teacher that you were looking for trouble, you wouldn't be able to go up. Since there was no one around, Xiao Chen went up first. Kai Wuliang followed behind him with his two lackeys. Tian Soran, Su Chuxia, and Li Yuanxiu also followed up. Tian Soran climbed up, but Su Chuxia was a lady and wasn't very good at climbing walls. After much difficulty, Li Yuanxiu, who was following behind, didn't dare to move after taking 2 steps. His size and weight were too big. Xiao Chang, right? How about it? Kneel down and kowtow to me twice, and I'll consider not sending you to the hospital. Kai Wuliang was still speaking when he suddenly discovered a big foot kicking over. He hadn't even finished speaking when he was sent flying into the air. Xiao Chen couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. This person seemed to be at least a stage 3 inner force martial artist. Although he couldn't tell if he was a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator, he definitely wouldn't fall to his death from the height of the 4th floor. Xiao Chen didn't wait for him to finish talking and kicked him down. Thud. A loud sound came from downstairs. Kai Wuliang landed directly on the ground, smashing a small hole in the field. He couldn't get up for a long time. Although Kai Wuliang had already used his inner force to protect his body, this was the 4th floor. Who could recover from such a sudden fall? He was in a daze from the fall, and his head was a little muddled. Kai Wuliang's 2 lackeys were a little dumbfounded. They couldn't care less about Xiao Chen anymore. They hurriedly ran down from the rooftop to check on their boss. In the end, Li Yuanxiu, who had just climbed halfway, was kicked down again. F***ck. Li Yuanxiu was so angry that he cursed. You 2 bastards, are you crazy? Kai Wuliang doesn't want to chase after Su Chuxia anymore, right? Usually, these 2 lackeys were quite respectful to Li Yuanxiu. After all, Kai Wuliang would occasionally look for Li Yuanxiu to ask about Su Chuxia. However, they couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him now. The 2 of them quickly ran down. Su Chuxia originally wanted to mediate, but she looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. You kicked him down? Yes. Xiao Chen nodded. You're in trouble. Su Chuxia was a little annoyed. If anything happened to him, you wouldn't be able to stay in Lan City anymore. Why are you so reckless? Tian Soran looked down and said, Thank goodness he's not dead. It seems like Kai Wuliang is fine. But you ambushed him once. What about the next time? I don't know what to say about you. There are really such daring idiots in this world. Let's go. I'll treat you guys to that barbecue, Xiao Chen said. Really? Tian Soran was stunned. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to really remember this. Really? Xiao Chen nodded. That's great. Let's go then. You're not bad. Sister Soran didn't worry about you for nothing. Don't worry. Next time Kai Wuliang gives you trouble, I'll help you mediate. I promise he won't beat you to death. Tian Soran said happily. However, Su Chuxia frowned. She pulled Tian Soran and whispered, That's not a good idea, right? He doesn't have much money. He said his family runs a small business, so he should take advantage of it. Besides, he has a chance to treat the goddess to a meal. This is a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. He has to thank me. Tian Soran said. I'm not going. Su Chuxia shook her head. Don't. If you don't go, what will he treat me to? It's not like he's wooing me, Tian Souring said hurriedly, afraid that this matter would fall through. Then go. Su Chuxia said helplessly. I think that Xiao Chang looks like a good person. He's quite honest, just a little reckless. Don't take advantage of him. Yes, I got it. Tian Souring nodded. Although Su Chuxia and Tian Souring's voices were relatively soft, Xiao Chen could still hear them clearly. He couldn't help but find it a little funny. Why did it seem like he was the reckless one in the eyes of these two girls? However, Su Chuxia looked like a good girl. She wasn't unruly or willful. Other than her slightly cold personality, there wasn't anything bad about her. What made Xiao Chen most relieved was that Su Chuxia didn't seem to hate him. In that case, getting close to her wouldn't backfire. The difficulty of the mission had been greatly reduced. The few of them prepared to go down the rooftop. In the end, Li Yuanxiu finally climbed up. He squatted on the ground and panted. Although he ran fast, he wasn't good at climbing. It was too heavy, and the wall ladder was too difficult to climb. I'm exhausted. How's Xiaochang? I saw those two guys running down. Did they beat someone to death? Did they run away? Li Yuanxiu said after panting for a long time. I scared them away. Let's go get something, Xiao Chen said. Ah, brother, are you okay? Li Yuanxiu looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. They didn't hit you? Did you show them your background and scared them away? No, I kicked that Kai Wuliang down. Xiao Chen pointed to the edge of the rooftop. What? You kicked him down? Li Yuanxiu ran to the edge of the rooftop and saw Kai Wuliang's two subordinates helping Kai Wuliang up and slowly walking forward. That's why Sister Souring said that he's reckless. Li Yuanxiu, don't play with him anymore. He's too reckless and will easily implicate you. Tian Souring said gloomily. Who would do that? Luckily, Kai Wuliang practiced martial arts before, so he's fine. If it were a normal person, he would have fallen to his death. You would have become a murderer. You're too reckless, aren't you? Brother, you're awesome. That was a sneak attack, right? Li Yuanxiu sized up Xiao Chen. And how did you know? Xiao Chen asked. That Kai Wuliang is an expert. He's from our school's mixed martial arts team. Last month, he represented our school in the competition and won first place in the high school group. Li Yuanxiu said. If you didn't sneak attack, the one who fell down would be you. Oh, then I'll continue to sneak attack next time. Xiao Chen smiled. AI, there's no solution now. This is the only way. Try your best to sneak attack. Li Yuanxiu shook his head. The two of you already have a deep hatred. I won't mediate anymore. If you get beaten up, I'll help you call an ambulance in time. You still dare to follow me? Aren't you afraid of implicating me? Xiao Chen asked curiously. He won't dare to really hit me. I, Li Yuanxiu, am not someone to be trifled with. My family is from a military compound, and I have a brother in the special forces. If he really dares to touch me, my brother will bring a few brothers back. If we really fight to the death, he will have to think twice. Li Yuanxiu said, but my power is still lacking. I can't protect you. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Li Yuanxiu to have some power. No wonder he dared to compete with Kai Wuliang. It seemed like it wasn't just because of his identity as Su Chuxia's brother. They were all from a military compound. It seemed like Li Yuanxiu's family also had people working in the research base, just like Su Chuxia. Hee, it's fine. I'm pretty good too, Xiao Chen said indifferently. Let's go eat that barbecue. Tian Suruan was the happiest to eat barbecue. Su Chuxia didn't mind. It was true that she loved delicious food, but she didn't like these big meaty things. She preferred to eat delicate and small things. The four of them came down from the rooftop. Kai Wuliang was already gone. Tian Suruan brought Xiao Chen out of the school and came to a place called Giant Cauldron Open Flame Barbecue. At the entrance of the shop, there was a poster with all kinds of delicious pictures. There were seafood, beef, lamb chops, and so on. Tian Suruan was drooling when he saw it. Xiao Chang, do you have money? Tian Suruan couldn't help but ask for confirmation before entering. Yes. Xiao Chen looked at the price. It was okay. This was only a mid-range restaurant. It couldn't be compared to those big restaurants. Chapter 530. That's good. I can eat without worry then, Tian Soren said happily. Su Chuxia, on the other hand, frowned. What if Xiao Chang pestered her when the time came? She couldn't think of anything, and could only follow him in. After sitting down, Tian Soren ordered a lot of delicacies. Li Yuanxiu might be fat, but he couldn't eat much. He scanned the menu for a long time and asked, "Are there any vegetarian dishes?" "There are roasted mushrooms, roasted potato slices." The waiter said, "All right, we'll have that then." Li Yuanxiu nodded. "You don't eat meat?" Xiaochen was a little curious. "Sigh, my childhood sweetheart told me to lose weight, or she wouldn't want me anymore. I have to suffer because of love." Li Yuanxiu sighed. Xiaochen asked, "Why didn't he lose weight then? Or did this guy get fat even when he drank cold water?" Su Chuxia ordered a bowl of exquisite wonton noodles and a plate of barbecued pork. It was obvious that her taste was more southern. Xiaochen randomly ordered one, and the waiter went to serve the dishes. Tian Soren ordered the most. She was surrounded by dishes, and the waiter even had to add a trolley for her. This girl talked a lot, but once she started eating she became speechless. Xiaochen looked at Su Chuxia, who was eating in a refined manner. She looked very beautiful and artistic when she ate. No wonder so many people liked her. It was obvious that Su Chuxia was a very well-behaved girl. Even girls like Missy and Shen Jingxian didn't have Su Chuxia's manners. Watching her eat was a kind of enjoyment. If it was in the past, Su Chuxia would definitely be a noble young lady. "Su Chuxia, what does your family do?" Xiaochen asked casually. Su Chuxia was slightly stunned. Then, she looked at Xiaochen cautiously. "Nothing much. I'm just a normal salaryman. We're all from the military compound." Her parents are both in the military factory. Her father was a technician, but he was transferred later. "I think it's a similar job," Li Yuanxiu explained. Su Chuxia frowned. She seemed to be blaming Li Yuanxiu for being a busybody, but she didn't say anything and continued eating. Xiaochen furrowed his brows. Li Yuanxiu sure had a lot to say. To him, some things might not be a big deal, but Su Chuxia's identity might be exposed because of this. However, there were some things that Xiaochen couldn't say. He could only pretend that he hadn't heard. He nodded and said, "Oh, what about Kai Wuyang's family?" "I fainted." Tian Suruan stuffed a piece of snowflake beef into his mouth, then slapped his forehead and said, "Xiao Chang, I'm telling you, don't cause any more trouble. Do you think I don't know that you are trying to find out about Kai Wuyang's background? There's no harm in telling you that the Kai family is very powerful in Lan City. Have you heard of the Surge Club?" "What's that? A place for surfing?" Xiaochen asked. "It's a martial arts club run by the Kai family." Tian said sourly. "It's called a dojo, but it's actually a gang. The students inside are gangsters if they pick up knives. Don't provoke them." Oh, Xiaochen thought of Lu Jinming. However, an opponent of this level was no longer worthy of Xiaochen's attention. He was now guarding against those who were against Su Chuxia. This Kai Wuyang was obviously just a pursuer, so there was nothing to be afraid of. As long as he didn't use force, Xiaochen couldn't be bothered with him. After the meal, Xiaochen paid the bill. It cost a total of more than 1,000 yuan. It was really a high-cost place, but Xiaochen didn't mind. He didn't know if Kai Wuyang had gone to the hospital or something. Xiaochen didn't see him for the entire afternoon, and couldn't be bothered with him. In the blink of an eye, it was time for school to end. Xiaochen saw Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan leave the classroom. He quickly picked up his bag and followed them. Although it seemed like he was shamelessly pestering Su Chuxia. Who knew if those people would make a move today? He could only follow behind and protect them in secret. Fortunately, the school was relatively safe, so Xiaochen didn't have to follow so closely. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that he wasn't the only one following behind Su Chuxia. There were a few other boys, but they seemed to be doing something. They were either reading books, talking on the phone, or chatting with their friends. However, in reality, their eyes were drifting over to Su Chuxia. Others might not be able to tell, but Xiaochen's sixth senses were sharp. He immediately knew what these people were up to. They were probably a bunch of losers who had a crush on their goddess, but didn't dare to confess. They could only look at her every day on the way home from school. Another possibility was that they were afraid of getting beaten up. After all, Kai Wuliang was very domineering. When they left the school, no one followed Su Chuxiao anymore. Only Xiao Chun was left. Xiao Chun thought about it and didn't drive. The parking lot was on the other side of the school. If he drove back, Su Chuxiao would probably be gone. Su Chuxiao followed Tian Suruan and walked in front. After walking for a while, Tian Suruan seemed to have eyes on the back of his head. He suddenly turned his head and whispered to Su Chuxia, "Chuxia, that Xiao Chang is following you." Su Chuxia was stunned. Then she was a little stunned. "No way. Why is he so bored?" Hee. Tian Suruan shrugged his shoulders. "I guess it's a qi deviation. Look at what he did today. This person is too ferocious. However, he's honest and seems quite good. Why don't you consider him? If you get along with him, he will definitely treat you well." However, Su Chuxiao shook her head and said, "I've never thought of getting a boyfriend. Moreover, I don't think we're compatible. With his personality, he's too impulsive and likes to cause trouble." "Suruan, tell him not to follow me. If he wants to follow me, then follow me. Anyway, he's just a bodyguard." Tian Suruan said, "This Xiao Chang is so ferocious that even Kai Wuliang is no match for him." Su Chuxia sighed helplessly and didn't say anything else. When they reached the intersection, she parted ways with Tian Suruan. The two of them weren't going in the same direction. As for Xiao Chun, he naturally wouldn't follow Tian Suruan. Instead, he continued to follow Su Chuxia. Since Tian Suruan had already seen him, he would definitely tell Su Chuxia. Hence, he decided not to sneak around and followed her openly. Su Chuxia obviously knew that Xiao Chun was following her. After walking for a while, she saw that Xiao Chun was still behind her. She suddenly stopped in her tracks helplessly. Seeing that she stopped, Xiao Chun also stopped in his tracks and looked at Su Chuxia. Su Chuxia really didn't know what to do. How could this person be so thick-skinned? She had already discovered him, but he didn't have any intention of retreating at all. He was still following her. If she stopped, he would also stop. How could there be such a person? After waiting for a while, seeing that Xiao Chun still hadn't left, Su Chuxia couldn't wait any longer. She quickly walked forward and even increased her pace. However, no matter how fast she walked, Xiao Chun could still keep up with her. Su Chuxia arrived at the bus stop. Obviously, she was going to take the bus home. Meanwhile, Xiao Chun also followed her to the vicinity of the bus stop. After a while, a Route 82 bus drove over. After Su Chuxia waited for the bus to stop, she followed the crowd by the roadside and got on the bus. Meanwhile, Xiao Chun quickly followed behind her. It was rush hour, so there were many people on the bus. Fortunately, Route 82 was a suburban route. Although there were many people on the bus, it wasn't too crowded. Su Chuxia saw that Xiao Chun had followed her. She felt a little helpless. She could only walk to the back of the bus and find a gap to stand still. Then, she held onto the window to guard it. Looking out the window at the scenery that kept passing by, she was really a little annoyed. Previously, her impression of Xiao Chang was not bad. Although she didn't like him, at least she didn't hate him. She felt that other than being impulsive, this person didn't have any bad intentions. However, she didn't expect that this guy would follow her after school. This was simply something that a pervert would do. Therefore, all of a sudden, Su Chuxia's impression of Xiao Chang plummeted. She even kind of regretted having lunch with him in the afternoon. After Xiao Chun got on the bus, he didn't follow Su Chuxia to the back of the bus. He only needed to be able to see Su Chuxia. He didn't need to get too close to her. Even if someone wanted to harm Su Chuxia, they would probably kidnap her instead of dealing with her directly. This was because they wanted the information in Su Chuxia's father's hands, not Su Chuxia's life. Killing Su Chuxia would have no meaning or benefit to them at all. The bus went on and off. After a few stops, the number of passengers on the bus gradually increased. The bus also became slightly crowded. Xiao Chun subconsciously moved to the back of the bus, just in case. At this time, a young man with greasy hair and a powdered face who had just gotten on the bus squeezed his way towards Su Chuxia. This person's actions were very rude. The people on the bus were about to complain when they were squeezed. However, when they saw the young man's gangster appearance, they knew that he wasn't a good person, so they didn't dare to say anything. Xiaochen frowned. This person's intentions were too obvious. He was coming towards Su Chuxia. However, Xiaochen wasn't sure if this person wanted to take advantage of Su Chuxia, or if he had other intentions. However, no matter what, since Xiaochen was a bodyguard, even if this person wanted to take advantage of Su Chuxia, he couldn't just sit back and watch. Hence, Xiaochen directly squeezed his way to Su Chuxia's side and stood behind her. He stretched out his arms and held onto the handrail in front of him. Xiaochen was tall and strong. He directly covered Su Chuxia with his body. Su Chuxia obviously noticed something. When she turned around, she realized that it was actually Xiaochang. She couldn't help but become even more annoyed. This person was actually starting to take a mile after giving her an inch. Although Xiaochen didn't touch her, the way he was standing was almost the same as those couples. If the car swayed, she might lean into his embrace. What a good plan. When that happened, Xiaochang would probably say that this had nothing to do with him, because the bus was moving. Moreover, she took the initiative to lean into his arms because the bus shook. It wouldn't be good to argue, right? Thinking of this, Su Chuxia wanted to ask Xiaochen to move away. However, she didn't expect that someone would speak before she did. Chapter 531. Kid, move aside. I'll go over. The young man didn't expect someone to beat him to it, so he was a little unhappy. He was a well-known public transport wolf in this area. He often did indecent things on the bus. He was about to get his way with a little beauty, but he was stopped by someone else. How could he be happy? Xiaochen didn't bother with him at all. He couldn't even be bothered to talk to this kind of idiot. When the young man saw that Xiaochen was ignoring him, he became even angrier. He grabbed Xiaochen's clothes and tried to push him to the side. Move your claws away. Don't look for trouble. Xiaochen turned his head coldly and looked at the young man as he warned him coldly. F***ck, I thought you were deaf. I told you to move aside. Didn't you hear me? The young man didn't let go at all. Instead, his actions became more barbaric. It was obvious that he didn't listen to Xiaochen's threat. When Su Chuxia heard the dispute behind her, she couldn't help but turn her head. When she saw Xiaochang arguing with the young man, she was stunned. However, she only needed to take a look to understand what was going on. Su Chuxia knew the young man, who was arguing with Xiaochang. He was always loitering on the 82 bus, and was a famous pervert. She was almost taken advantage of by him several times. Most of the time, Su Chuxia would hide far away when she saw him. If she couldn't, she would get off the bus and take the next bus. Today, the reason why she didn't guard against him was because Xiaochang was on the bus. She didn't want to look at him. She was afraid that if she looked too much, Xiaochang would misunderstand something. But now, Su Chuxia knew that this young man must have wanted to take advantage of her, and was discovered by Xiaochang. Then, Xiaochang's action of protecting her before was understandable. This time, Su Chuxia didn't feel as disgusted with Xiaochang as before, but she felt a deep sense of helplessness. This guy really thinks he's a flower protector? And he seems to be addicted to it. The key was that she didn't need it at all. If it wasn't for him, she would have been careful. Let go. Xiaochen gently swung his arm and shook the young man's hand to the side. F***ck. Su Chuxia was speechless. Why was he putting on an act again? Although this person was a pervert, he was a member of a thief gang nearby. If you offended him, I'm afraid there would be a lot of trouble. Pretty cool, huh? Are you going to move aside or not? This young man was also anxious. In this area, he was also a reputable person. Usually, his main profession was a thief, and his side profession was a pervert. Now that he had met someone who obstructed him, he was naturally unhappy. Although the people in the car also saw the conflict here, many people didn't understand what was going on. Of course, even if they knew what was going on, it was estimated that very few people would come forward. After all, it had nothing to do with them, and this young man didn't look like a good person at first glance. It was hard to say if he had a weapon on him. There are too many people in the car. I don't want to kill you, But if you want to die, don't blame me for being rude. Xiao Chen's eyes sharpened, and he stared at the young man coldly. All right, you're good. Let me see who wants to die. Being threatened by Xiao Chen, the young man immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. He took out a switchblade from his pocket and opened it with a paw sound, pretending to stab Xiao Chen. Scram right now. If I don't kill you. The young man used the switchblade. When the other passengers saw this, they immediately dodged to the side in fear. Although it was a little crowded in the car, they still made a large space for Xiao Chen. Su Chuxia turned around and slapped her forehead. Oh my god. Do you know how to use a knife? She didn't know how the switchblade ran directly into Xiao Chen's hand. The young man was stunned. Just as he was about to scold someone, he realized that the knife in his hand was gone. He was instantly shocked, and he looked at Xiao Chen with some fear. You! However, Xiao Chen didn't care about him. He grabbed the young man by the neck, casually opened the window not far away, and with a swoosh, he threw the young man out of the moving bus. With a bang, he landed in the middle of the road. Behind him was an emergency brake, and the young man was almost killed. The young man was so scared that his face turned pale. He finally knew what a ruthless person was. He actually dared to throw people out of the bus. He was simply a fugitive. The young man escaped from death and scrambled away, but his heart was a little unwilling and full of hatred. Xiao Chen didn't care about this young man's life or death at all. He didn't care if he would be hit by a car or if he fell down. Anyway, he deserved to die. Moreover, Xia Zhili would definitely help him settle it, since it was Yang Tan who killed him. Su Chuxia didn't know what to say. How could this Xiao Chang be so fierce? It was a miracle that he hadn't been sent to prison because of an accidental injury. He had done something like a tiger twice in one day. First, he kicked Kai Wuliang off the roof of the school building, and now, he directly threw the pervert out of the bus window. These were all things that could kill people if they weren't careful. When that time came, he would be charged with murder no matter what. Su Chuxia couldn't imagine what kind of shocking things he would do if he continued to follow her. Looking at Xiao Chang, Su Chuxia wanted to say something, but in the end she didn't. She felt that she wasn't as eloquent as Tian Suruan. Tian Suruan's words didn't work, so what she said would be useless. She could only glare at Xiao Chang. Xiao Chen didn't care much about Su Chuxia's gaze. He didn't really want to pursue Su Chuxia. He was just a bodyguard. He didn't care what she thought. As long as he completed his mission, it was fine. Xiao Chen wanted to cancel the wanted order and quickly return to Songning. That was his home. The previous incident made the people on the bus very respectful of Xiao Chang. As for the bus driver, seeing that nothing had happened, he naturally couldn't be bothered to care about Xiao Chen. He didn't want to get into trouble. The bus drove for a few more stops before Su Chuxia arrived at her stop. She was about to get off when she turned around and saw that Xiao Chen was still hugging her and standing behind her. She was stunned. Previously, the bus was swaying back and forth, but Xiao Chen didn't touch her at all. She thought that Xiao Chen had already moved to the side. She didn't expect him to still maintain this position. This made Su Chuxia a little surprised. This wasn't something that could be done easily. It was easy to take advantage of her, but it wasn't easy to not do so. I want to get off. Su Chuxia looked at Xiao Chen and said coldly. Oh. Xiao Chen retracted his hand and moved aside. Su Chuxia quickly got off the bus, but Xiao Chen followed her. Previously, Su Chuxia was still comforting herself that Xiao Chen just happened to be on the same bus as her. He was just going the same way. However, now that she saw him getting off the bus, she couldn't help but frown. She stopped and turned around. She stared at Xiao Chen with her big eyes. Do you want to go home with me? Oh, I'm going this way too. It's just on the way. Don't worry. I'm not going to your house. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Really? Su Chuxia obviously didn't believe Xiao Chen's words, but after listening to him, she could only say, okay, then I'll see where you are going. After that, Su Chuxia walked away angrily. Xiao Chen still followed behind her unhurriedly. After walking for a while, Su Chuxia came to the entrance of a community. She suddenly turned around and shocked Xiao Chen. Why are you still following me? Su Chuxia asked. I live here. Xiaochen said innocently. I rented a house here. Really? Su Chuxia was stunned. She looked at Xiaochen suspiciously, but seeing that he said it so confidently, she couldn't say anything more. She turned around and walked away quickly, ignoring him. Su Chuxia entered the community and came to the door of a unit. She opened the unit door. When she saw that Xiaochen hadn't followed her, she closed the unit door with a bang. Only then did she let out a sigh of relief. If I don't have the key, I can't open the unit door no matter what. I want to see where he lives. Su Chuxia ran upstairs quickly, and Xiaochen directly opened the unit door. This was a piece of cake for him, but he didn't follow her upstairs. Instead, he listened from below. Based on Su Chuxia's footsteps, he could roughly tell that Su Chuxia lived on the 4th floor. As for which room upstairs, he didn't know, but it wasn't important. Xiaochen turned around and left the unit directly. He went out of the community and directly entered a real estate agent. Sir, are you buying or renting a house? The proprietress saw Xiaochen walking in and quickly solicited business. I'm renting a house, Xiaochen said. In this community, what kind of houses are available for rent? In this community, there are some. What are your conditions? Asked the proprietress. It's best if it's the 3rd or 4th floor of building number 5, or the 4th floor of building number 6 opposite building number 5, or the 4th floor of building number 6, said Xiaochen. Su Chuxia's house was on the 4th floor of building number 5, so Xiaochen proposed these conditions. Okay, let me see. The proprietress entered Xiaochen's conditions into the computer and began to search. After a while, the proprietress said, there is only one house that meets your conditions. It's room 401 in building number 4. But room 401 is finely renovated. The rent is more expensive than other houses. How much? Asked Xiaochen. He didn't care if it was finely renovated or not. Anyway, he was on a mission. He could ask Xia Zhili for reimbursement later, so he didn't have to pay out of his own pocket. 3,000 a month, starting at half a year. The proprietress said. It includes property fees, heating fees, broadband fees, and cable TV fees. This community wasn't considered a high-end community, and the location wasn't particularly good. 3,000 a month was a relatively high price. And the worst part was that the starting rent was half a year. Could Xiaochen stay for half a year? However, it wasn't Xiaochen who was paying anyway, so Xiaochen directly nodded and said, okay, then let's take a look at the house, and then we can sign the contract. Okay, give me the house key, and entrust me with full responsibility. I'll bring you there now. The proprietress directly prepared to close the store and bring Xiaochen there. But I have to say in advance, if you want to rent it, you have to pay me a referral fee of 1,500 yuan, which is 50% of the room price. Of course, this is a one-time payment. When you renew the lease, you don't have to pay me anymore. Chapter 532. Sure, replied Xiaochen. No wonder the proprietress was so enthusiastic. She didn't hesitate to close the door and take him to see the house. The proprietress brought Xiaochen to room 401 of building number 4. Xiaochen was very satisfied with this house. It had all the household appliances. He could move in directly. Therefore, Xiaochen signed the contract with the proprietress on the spot and gave her 20,000 yuan. 500 yuan was the deposit for water and electricity. Xiaochen settled down for a while. He stood by the window and looked at the window on the 4th floor of building number 5. Although Xiaochen's sixth sense was very sharp, he couldn't see clearly from such a distance. He wasn't a clairvoyant. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen went downstairs. He planned to go out for dinner and find a place to buy a telescope. Now, he was a little regretful that he didn't ask Lu Shuangshuang for a telescope before he left. He still had to find a place to buy it. Xiaochen found a snack bar and ate a bowl of noodles. It was really F***ing disgusting. Moreover, it cost 15 yuan. It was much more disgusting than the noodles at Kerlin's house. Suddenly Xiaochen thought of Kerlin. Speaking of which, he hadn't seen her for a long time. He wondered how she was doing. She didn't even know that he had come to Lan City. However, thinking about it, his relationship with her was very strange. This little girl always seemed to be afraid of him. After paying, Xiaochun decided not to eat this restaurant's noodles anymore. He walked around and found a literature and education shop that sold telescopes. Xiaochun bought a better telescope and returned to the neighborhood. However, he didn't go upstairs directly. Instead, he walked around the neighborhood and found a flower bed. Then he planted 2 devil spear fruit seeds. These seeds were obtained from the herb garden in the ancient ruins. At that time, there were devil spear fruits there too. However, Xiaochun didn't pick them, because they would lose their effectiveness soon. Xiaochun didn't know when he could leave, or if he could make it in time. Therefore, he only collected some seeds and planted them here. After digging the hole, Xiaochun infused some yuan qi into it. Then, he went upstairs and returned to his rented apartment. The first thing Xiaochun did, when he returned, was to look across the building with the telescope. He set up the telescope at the window. Why did Xiaochun feel that he was a little dirty? It seemed that many otakus had such things in their homes to peek at their goddesses. Xiaochun took a look at room 401 and saw an old man and an old lady dancing in front of the TV. This was probably not Su Chuxia's house. So Xiaochun turned to look at room 402 and really saw Su Chuxia. At that moment, Su Chuxia was already in her home clothes. She was sitting in the living room watching TV. She had a glass of juice and a bag of popcorn in her hands. She was enjoying the show. Xiaochun glanced at the television screen and realized that he was actually watching it with Cheng Minjing and the others. It was still the very popular school drama. He could not help but feel puzzled. Why were there so many girls watching this television? After observing for a while, Su Chuxia was very restrained. Although she could continue watching it on the TV box, she only watched 1 episode before returning to her room. Xiaochun quickly pointed the telescope in the direction of Su Chuxia's room. He saw Su Chuxia open her bag and take out a few books. She sat in front of her desk and started reading. She would occasionally scribble and draw on the side. It was obvious that she was revising. At around 8 p.m., Su Chuxia put down her textbook, stood up, and walked out of her room. Xiaochun looked from the living room and saw that she had gone to the bathroom. She had been gone for quite some time. Xiaochun thought that she had fallen in or encountered some kind of danger. Half an hour later, Su Chuxia came out with her hair dripping wet. It was clear that she had just taken a hot shower. However, she was still wearing her home clothes. There was no sign of her being exposed at all. What am I thinking? After returning to her room, Su Chuxia didn't continue reading. Instead, she picked up the music player on her desk and lay on the bed to listen to some music. Then she got up and closed the curtains. She turned off the lights and went to sleep. What a girl with a regular lifestyle. Previously, Xiaochun felt that Su Chuxia was very disciplined in everything she did. She wasn't like the young mistress, who did everything randomly. After she went to sleep, Xiaochun lost interest in continuing to monitor her. He laid down on the bed and could not help but sigh. This day was like a dream. He was still in Songning City a moment ago. But in the blink of an eye, he came to Lan City. How was it? Did the mission go well? It was a text from Song Huawu. Xiaochun glanced at it and replied to her. It was all right. But I offended the school bully. I don't know if he will bring people to beat me up tomorrow. Don't kill people, Song Huawu warned. If you kill him, you won't be able to stay here anymore. I know, but I'm a man. It's more or less inconvenient for me to secretly protect Su Chuxia. What if she goes to the bathroom or takes a shower? What am I going to do? Xiaochun said after a day of protecting Su Chuxia. I'll see how it goes. If there's nothing else here, I'll see if I can apply to accompany you. We'll protect her together, Song Huawu replied after some thought. That's for the best. Xiaochun heaved a sigh of relief. Xiaochun basically spent the night cultivating. So the next morning, he woke up early and went to the window to look at Su Chuxia's room. Su Chuxia only got up from 5 to 6 o'clock. She opened the curtains and the window to breathe in the fresh air outside. Seeing Su Chuxia's intoxicated expression, Xiaochun felt that it was quite amusing. However, the weather outside was already very cold. Su Chuxia took a breath, closed the window, and drew the curtains. After a while, when she opened the curtains again, She was already dressed. It was a very simple jacket. It was obvious that she was a cautious person. She never opened the curtains when she changed. After that, Su Chuxia went to the kitchen. She baked 2 pieces of bread and squeezed a cup of soy milk for herself. She turned on her tablet and watched the news for a while. After breakfast, she grabbed her bag and prepared to go to school. This kind of routine surprised Xiao Chen. He didn't know how she developed this habit. Xiao Chen went downstairs and happened to see Su Chuxia walking out of her unit. Su Chuxia also saw Xiao Chen from afar. She was a little shocked. Her eyes widened in disbelief. When Xiao Chen came over, she asked, "You really live here?" "Yeah, didn't I tell you yesterday?" Xiao Chen said with a smile. Su Chuxia felt that something was wrong. But no matter how she thought about it, she couldn't figure out what was wrong. She shook her head and walked to the entrance of the residential area to wait for the bus. After a while, the 82 bus arrived. Xiao Chen and Su Chuxia got on the bus together. In the morning, the smell of the bus was a little unpleasant. It was filled with the smell of all kinds of food. Chives boxes, beef buns. The smell was simply amazing. Su Chuxia found a seat by the window to get some fresh air. Even when Xiao Chen was chased out of the Xiao family, he had never taken a bus before. Now that he was experiencing the life of an ordinary person, it was really a tough morning. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that Su Chuxia's family should be quite wealthy, since her father was the person in charge of the research institute, and the research institute was related to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. How could she not have a private car? Or did Su Chuxia not like to be ostentatious and just wanted to be an ordinary girl? Finally, they arrived at New Moon Academy. Xiao Chen and Su Chuxia got out of the car. Su Chuxia looked at Xiao Chen, who was following her, and felt a headache coming on. "Xiao Chang, you go ahead. I'll just follow behind you," Xiao Chen said. "No, listen to me." Su Chuxia stomped her feet and was a little annoyed. "What I mean is, I don't want to be in a relationship during high school. It's pointless for you to follow me. Moreover, if you follow me like this, Kai Wuliang will definitely be unhappy. He will teach you a lesson." "Oh, it's fine. Then I won't be in a relationship. It's just on the way. If he wants to teach me a lesson, I can only try not to beat him to death. If I fail, there's nothing I can do." Xiao Chen said, "You do whatever you want." Su Chuxia turned around and walked away quickly. Xiao Chen smiled and followed. However, just as he reached the school gate, before he could enter, he was stopped by a few people in black suits. "Who are you? Why are you stopping students at the school gate?" The security guard at the school gate saw this scene and immediately walked over and asked the man in black, "Don't waste time. Go away." The leader of the group, a man in sunglasses, pushed the security guard hard. The security guard staggered and almost fell to the ground. This man in sunglasses was still shirtless in the winter. He wore a tight vest, and the muscles on his arms were bulging. He didn't look like a good person at first glance. "Xiao Chang, right?" Xiao Chen nodded. "You're looking for me? It doesn't seem to be a big deal. This idiot kicked young Master Kai yesterday?" The man in the vest said to the people around him with some disbelief. Young Master Kai said that it was a sneak attack. A man with slicked back hair, next to the man in the vest, said, "Oh, a sneak attack." The man in the vest nodded and said, "Okay, come with us." "Where to?" Xiao Chen frowned. Although it was fine to go with them, his current mission was to protect Su Chuxia. If he left and Su Chuxia was in danger, it would be troublesome. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen subconsciously looked at Su Chuxia. When Su Chuxia heard the quarrel behind her, she also turned around and saw the scene just now. When she saw Xiao Chen looking at her, she couldn't help but be a little annoyed. "Why aren't you pretending now? Seeing these burly men, you know that you're no match for them, right? You even asked me for help." However, even if Su Chuxia thought so, she still couldn't sit back and do nothing. After all, the root cause of this matter was her. If Kai Wuliang didn't like her, so many things wouldn't have happened. Chapter 533. Su Chuxia had no choice but to walk over and ask the leader, "Did Kai Wuliang ask you to come?" "Who are you?" A man with triangular eyes glared and scolded. Get lost if you have nothing to do with me. F***ck off. The leader slapped the man's head, and his triangular eyes immediately turned into panda eyes. This is the girl that young Master Kai is interested in. Are you blind? With triangular eyes, you're just blind. Watch carefully next time before you speak. Yes, yes. The man with triangular eyes covered his eyes and quickly replied. Su Chuxiao frowned slightly and said, Since Kai Wuliang asked you to come, you should go back. This is my classmate. I can't let him go with you. I'm sorry, sister-in-law. Young Master Kai specifically asked me to bring him back. If I don't go back, I won't be able to explain myself. Although the man was very respectful to Su Chuxia, he was not obedient at all. Su Chuxia was a little anxious. She turned her head and saw that Xiao Chen didn't care. She couldn't help but say, Xiao Chang, don't go with them. This is the school gate. They won't dare to do anything to you. That Kai Wuliang wants to see me. Let him come himself. Xiao Chen thought about it. He still couldn't go with them. What if it was Kai Wuliang's trick to lure him away? That's not up to you. The man in the vest said as he reached out to grab Xiao Chen. F***CKU. Xiao Chen kicked the man in the tank top and sent him flying. With a whoosh, he flew to the road in front of the school. At this moment, a car happened to pass by. As a result, the man in the tank top hit the front of the car with a bang and was sent flying again. The driver was obviously a powerful person. He drove a Maserati to school and knocked someone flying, but he didn't even look at it. He drove the car into the school parking lot. The man in the vest was hit until his face was covered in blood, but he didn't die. Xiao Chen sneered in his heart. With his stage 2 inner force cultivation, he wouldn't die at this speed. The man with the slick back hair and triangular eyes were dumbfounded. They pointed at Xiao Chen and said, You're sneaking up on us again. It's a sneak attack. What can you do? Xiao Chen smiled and said, Pay attention, I'm going to sneak attack again. After saying that, Xiao Chen kicked again, sending the triangular-eyed man flying. He smashed into the man in the tank top, who was struggling to get up from the ground not far away. With a bang he was smashed back. When the man with the slick back hair saw that the situation wasn't right, he didn't dare to clamor anymore. He turned around and ran to check on the triangular-eyed man and the man in vest. Alright, see, I didn't leave with them, did I? Xiao Chen smiled at Su Chuxia. I'm going to faint. Su Chuxia slapped her forehead, not knowing what to say. The two of them entered the school. Suddenly, Su Chuxia saw Tian Suruan not far away. She was a little surprised and quickly walked over. Xiao Chen also followed closely behind. At that moment, Tian Suruan was looking around the Maserati. As she looked, she muttered, It's over, it's over. Sister Suruan, I'm so unlucky today. I bumped into an idiot who hit my car. Sigh, it's over. It wasn't easy for me to borrow it, but the car's already broken on the first day. Xiao Chen's eyes widened. It turned out that Tian Suruan was the one who sent the man in vest flying. How dare she say she's a tiger? This girl is really a tiger. Suruan, did you hit someone with your car just now? Su Chuxia asked. Yeah, Sister Suruan was scared to death. Is that person dead? I ran away quickly. Don't blame it on me. I can't afford it. Tian Suruan quickly said when she saw Su Chuxia coming. He's not dead. Even if he's dead, it's not your fault. I kicked him into the car, Xiao Chen said. Ah, you're here too? Tian Suruan saw Xiao Chen and was stunned. She said, So you're the one who damaged my car? No, Xiao Chang, you have to compensate me. This car is very expensive. I just borrowed it, and it's already broken. Okay, I'll fix it for you. Xiao Chen didn't deny it, because it was really him who damaged the car. That's more like it. Tian Suruan finally felt relieved. I can finally report back. Su Chuxia frowned slightly, but she didn't say anything. She felt that she shouldn't have too much to do with Xiao Chen. However, Tian Suruan damaged the car, so she really couldn't afford it. Suruan, where did you get this car? Why do you drive such an expensive car? Isn't this just for fun? Tian Suruan said. This car was begged by Li Yuan. Begged by Li Yuan? When did he buy such an expensive car? Su Chuxia was a little surprised. She looked at the car. It was still new and didn't have a license plate. This was a Maserati CEO. The market price was about 1.5 million yuan. Hey. Sister Suruan hasn't finished yet. This car belongs to Li Yuan's fiancé. Tian Suruan said. Su Chuxiao was a little speechless. Suruan, you're talking too much. Although it's very familiar, it's not good to damage it. Fortunately, someone is responsible for it. Tian Suruan said. I'll contact 4S to repair the car in a while. The man in the tank top and the others limped back. At this moment, Kai Wuliang was sitting in the Inspur Club waiting for them to come back. However, they did come back. However, the tragic state of these people made Kai Wuliang stunned. Did you guys get into a car accident? Yes, young Master Kai, how did you know? The man in the tank top nodded. He was indeed hit by a car. But he was a little puzzled as to how Kai Wuliang knew. Damn, there really was a car accident. Kai Wuliang was stunned. I just guessed it casually. What happened? Young Master Kai, don't mention it. I tested him. That kid Xiaochang has some strength. He's not an ordinary person. The man in the tank top said. Not an ordinary person? What do you mean? Kai Wuliang narrowed his eyes and asked. This kid has some skills. Although it was a sneak attack, he definitely has some ability. I suspect he's also a martial artist. The man in the tank top said carefully. Martial artist? Stop bullsh** ting. Just anyone who transferred here is a martial artist? He doesn't look like one. Did you feel that he has inner force? Kai Wuliang didn't believe it. I don't think so. After thinking about it, the man in the tank top shook his head. That's it. In my opinion, this kid has some brute force. His hands are quite agile, and he's good at sneak attacks. Kai Wuliang said. How about this? Later, you find a few more brothers. After school at night, don't talk nonsense with him. Go up and beat him up. Don't give him a chance to sneak attack. With so many people, I want to see how he can sneak attack. I'll beat the old master to death with random punches. All right, young Master Kai. I'll go and gather some people. The man in the tank top nodded and limped away. Looking at the back view of the man in the tank top leaving, Kai Wuliang pinched his chin and muttered to himself. I wonder where this Xiaochang came from. Could he be from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? But it doesn't seem like it. The people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau aren't as high profile as him. This kid seems to have a screw loose in his head. Moreover, he only has brute force. Shaking his head, Kai Wuliang got up and prepared to go to school. He was late almost every day. Today was the 12th grade monthly test. Although it was called a monthly test, in fact, the 12th grade had a big test every 3 days, and a small test every 2 days. It wasn't a monthly test. After the test papers were distributed, Xiao Chun wrote quickly. Xiao Chun had already learned these things very well when he was trying to win a scholarship in number 2 high school. Therefore, he had no difficulty answering the questions. Before the end of the test, Xiao Chun had already handed in his paper. However, he didn't leave after handing in his paper. Instead, he continued to sit in his seat and looked at Su Chuxia from time to time. Chuxia, Xiaochang is so weird. He handed in his paper and still looked at you in his seat. Tian Saoring whispered to Su Chuxia. Who cares about him? Su Chuxia was a little helpless with Xiao Chen's behavior. He wouldn't listen no matter what she said, so she could only let him be. This guy was getting more and more troublesome. He even beat up people from Kai Wuliang's family's club. There was no way to resolve this feud. Do you think Kai Wuliang will deal with Xiaochang again after school today? Tian Saoring asked. Do you still need to think about it? Su Chuxia shook her head. Definitely, but things have already come to this point. We can't help him anymore. That's true. So it looks like I have to get him to give me the money at noon. If he ends up in the hospital at night, who will fix my car? Tian Saoring sighed. Can't you think of something better? Su Chuxia was helpless. All right, for this exam, let me get first place. Tian Saoring said. The whole day was spent on exams. After the exams were over and school was over, Xiao Chun packed his things and prepared to follow Su Chuxia. What surprised him was that Kai Wuliang really brought people over. This time he brought quite a lot of people. It could be said that there were more than 10 people. There were 20 to 30 people in total. When they saw Xiaochen coming out, they immediately surrounded Xiaochen. There were 3 circles inside and 3 circles outside. Kai Wuliang couldn't see Xiaochen anymore. He had no choice but to stand on the gymnasium at the side and shout to the middle of the crowd. Xiao Chong, aren't you good at sneak attacks? Why don't you sneak attack me again this time? Do it. Su Chuxia and Tian Saoring reacted, but it was too late. Xiaochen was already surrounded. They couldn't even find him. Li Yuanxiu saw the situation and ran over while panting. Chuxia Saoring, what's going on? What are these people doing? Xiao Chong is surrounded in the middle, Tian Saoring said. Li Yuanxiu directly took out his phone. Are you going to call for help? Tian Saoring looked and asked quickly. I'll call an ambulance, Li Yuanxiu said. At this time, the fight had already started. Dust flew everywhere, and they couldn't see the situation inside clearly. They didn't know who was fighting who, but they could hear the continuous screams. Kai Wuliang sat on the side of the gymnasium and looked proudly at the people not far away. How dare you challenge me, Kai Wuliang? I'll beat you to death. The sirens of the ambulance could be heard. Dust was still flying up from the fight, and Kai Wuliang couldn't see clearly. But he guessed that it was about time, so he shouted, all right, it's about time. Don't really kill him. Chapter 534. Oh, all right. Xiaochen walked out from the cloud of dust. He had purposely created that cloud of dust so that these people couldn't see each other clearly. That way, he would be able to beat these people up. And beating them up was really satisfying. Xiaochen felt that he was about to have a breakthrough. It seemed that beating up more people was also beneficial to his cultivation. Jie! Kai Wuliang's eyes widened. He looked at the unharmed Xiaochen and almost thought that he had seen a ghost. Yu, what about me? Didn't you say that it's about time? That's why I didn't beat them to death. I guess they'll just have to lie in the hospital for half a year. Xiaochen shrugged. At this time, the dust had also dispersed. In fact, it was Xiaochen's illusion that had dissipated. Kai Wuliang looked at the large pile of people lying on the ground and was so shocked that he wanted to cry. How did all his people die? That's impossible, right? No matter how good Xiao Chong was at fighting, it was impossible for him to beat everyone down. Isn't this too exaggerated? Su Chuxia also had a look of disbelief. Is this for real? Damn! Tian Wangsuo exclaimed. Chuxia, this Xiao Chong isn't just a tiger. He's simply a wolf. He's too ferocious. One against a group. I really underestimated him. What's so good about fighting? Su Chuxia shook her head. No matter what, Xiao Chong's way of doing things was wrong in her opinion. He transferred to another school, but didn't study properly. Instead, he got into a few fights in just 2 days. Thinking about how he handed in his paper not long after the exam today, it was obvious that he didn't answer the questions well. He was probably here to waste his time like Kai Wuliang, right? Someone shouted, the director is here. And the surrounding students ran away. When Xiaochen saw that the situation was not right, he also ran away. He waited for Su Chuxia and Tian Wangsuo at the school gate. He didn't want to be labeled as a bad student right after coming to school. It was better to avoid fighting. Director Chiu ran over with a black face, but Xiaochen had already run away. Lying on the ground were a group of people from the Surge Club. Kai Wuliang wanted to cry but had no tears. Now he finally knew how strong Xiao Chong was. He was really a strong person. This fight was a little too ruthless. He rolled his eyes and saw Director Chiu. He hurriedly ran over. What happened? Who is fighting here? Who are these people? Director Chiu shouted at the students who had yet to leave. It was just that these students were just watching the show, and they didn't even know what was going on. Moreover, this matter involved Kai Wuliang, so they didn't dare to speak carelessly. Director Chiu, you're finally here. You have to uphold justice for me. Kai Wuliang ran over with the look of a victim. Kai Wuliang, what are you doing here? Did you find these people? Director Chiu didn't have a good impression of Kai Wuliang. After seeing him, he immediately frowned. Director Chiu, these people are indeed my people, but they were beaten up. Kai Wuliang said with a sad face. These people are from the Surge Club. They are all fitness trainers. Isn't today's exam dismissed early? I want to enrich the life of the third year of high school for everyone. I asked my family's trainers to come over and give everyone a hip-hop dance, aerobics, etc., so that the students can enjoy and relax. I was just directing on the gymnastics stage. You? Looking for people to dance? Director Chiu didn't quite believe it. He looked at Kai Woolyang suspiciously. Really? If that's the case, why are they lying on the ground with their faces full of injuries? This matter has to start from the transfer student Xiao Chong. Kai Woolyang said. Xiao Chong? What does it have to do with him? Director Chiu had personally handled the admission procedures for Xiao Chen yesterday. He naturally had an impression of the name Xiao Chong. Director Chiu, you don't know, right? The real reason he transferred here wasn't to study, but to pick up girls. Kai Woolyang started to defame Xiao Chen. Did you know? Yesterday morning, in order to show off in front of Su Chuxia, he first beat me up, then threatened me, telling me not to go near Su Chuxia. Him? Beat you up? Director Chiu laughed. Kai Woolyang, are you joking with me? Director Chiu, everything I said is true. Moreover, these people on the ground were beaten up by Xiao Chong. Kai Woolyang said. Originally, he was here to tell jokes to Su Chuxia and Tian Soran. But I said that my people wanted to perform a dance, and asked him to step aside. However, in order to show off in front of Su Chuxia, he beat up my people. You mean he beat up a group of people by himself? And these people of yours are your club's trainers? Director Chiu asked. That's right, that's right. Kai Woolyang nodded. Kai Woolyang, if you continue to talk nonsense, don't come to school anymore. Now take your people and get lost. Director Chiu was furious. This was really ridiculous. Was he joking? One person beat up a group? Others might not know, but how could Director Chiu not know? Kai Woolyang's family owned a dojo, and these people were all big and strong trainers. It was possible for them to beat up one person. But how could one person beat up a group? Don't, Director Chiu. Look, they are all injured. Moreover, you can ask the other students what happened just now. Kai Woolyang was a little anxious. To be honest, if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that such a magical thing could happen. Director Chiu frowned, but he still found two students and asked, You two, tell me what happened just now. Did Xiao Chong beat up all of them by himself? Director, we don't know if it was Xiao Chong, nor do we know him. However, it was indeed a person who beat up a group of people. A student said truthfully. Yes, that student left with Su Chuxia and Tian Soran. The other student added. Oh, this time, Director Chiu was confused. Could it really be as Kai Woolyang said, that Xiao Chong beat up a group of people by himself? Then this Xiao Chong was really amazing. After thinking for a while, Director Chiu said to Kai Woolyang, This was all done by Xiao Chong? You're not lying, right? No, absolutely not. Kai Woolyang nodded solemnly. You said that he came to school not to learn, but to pursue Su Chuxia? Director Chiu continued to ask. Yes, that must be the case. Kai Woolyang nodded vigorously. All right, I got it. I will ask the other students again. If this is really the case, I will deal with this matter. Director Chiu said. All right, thank you, Director Chiu. Kai Woolyang nodded. Hurry up and send these people to the hospital. Don't do it on the school field. Director Chiu waved his hand and went to find other students to verify. At this time, the ambulance also arrived and drove into the field. However, when the medical staff saw the situation, they were a little dumbfounded. Even this couldn't fit them? Are you a friend of these injured people? The ambulance can't fit them. It can only fit two people. The medical staff said. Try your best, one on top of the other. They won't die. Just stuff them all in. Although Kai Woolyang had complained about Xiao Chong, it was hard to say if it would have any effect. He was afraid that in the end he would only be punished. It was impossible to fire him directly. That's not good, right? These people are already injured. Some of them even have broken arm and leg bones. If they are stacked on top of each other, won't their injuries be even more serious? The medical staff was stunned and said, It's okay. Listen to me. Kai Woolyang waved his hand impatiently. That won't do. We have to be responsible for the injured. The medical staff said, Damn it, we are from the Wave Club. If we tell you to stuff them, then do it. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up, or else your car will be smashed. Kai Wuliang felt that it was too embarrassing for these people to be lying on the field. It was better to take them away quickly. Moreover, he was the victim now. If these people continued to be an eyesore here, and Director Chiu was unhappy, he would also be unlucky. When the medical staff heard that it was the Wave Club, his expression immediately changed. He hurriedly followed Kai Wuliang's instructions and loaded the car with all his might. He didn't even need the stretcher beds anymore. He just stacked them one by one like he was loading goods. After filling it up, it drove away with a whimper. And Kai Wuliang also drove back by himself. On the other side, Director Chiu was still investigating. However, after asking a few students, they all said the same thing. Director Chiu's expression became a little gloomy. Have you practiced before? Tian Souring looked at Xiao Chen strangely. No wonder you are so fearless. It turns out that you are so fierce. Souring, are you leaving or not? If not, I'm leaving. Su Chuxia had already regarded Xiao Chong and Kai Wuliang as the same kind of people. They were both school bullies who wanted to pursue her. Let's go. Let's go. Tian Souring glanced at Xiao Chen and quickly caught up with Su Chuxia. Xiao Chen still followed behind. When Su Chuxia and Tian Souring parted ways, he came to the bus stop with Su Chuxia. Then, he stood behind her and waited for the bus together. Su Chuxia finally couldn't take it anymore. She turned around with a pair of big bright eyes. There was anger in them. Xiaochang, are you done? I can tell you now that I won't date while I'm still a student. You don't have to pester me anymore. It's useless. Gosh, classmate Su, have you forgotten that we live in the same neighborhood? I'm going home now. How am I pestering you? Xiao Chen smiled innocently. Huh. Su Chuxia was stunned. So that was really the case. Did she misunderstand him? She thought about it and felt a little embarrassed. So she said, I see. Then it's fine. I forgot. And it's okay. Xiao Chen smiled. After a while, the 82 bus arrived. Xiao Chen and Su Chuxia got on the bus. However, after 2 stops, the young man who wanted to take advantage of Su Chuxia yesterday got on the bus again. However, this time he wasn't alone. Following him was a burly man wearing a training uniform. The words Wave Club were clearly printed on it. Chapter 535. Seeing this person, the passengers all avoided him. Obviously, this Wave Club had some reputation in Lon City, and it wasn't a good reputation. Otherwise, the citizens wouldn't stay away. When the young man saw Xiao Chen, he was immediately happy. Originally, he wanted to try his luck and look for Xiao Chen to see if he was in this car. If not, he would immediately get off and continue to wait. In his opinion, Xiao Chen, a student, would definitely take a car. But he didn't expect to see him in the first car. Brother De, it's him. The kid next to the pretty girl. Yesterday, he threw me out of the window. And I got it. The one called Brother De nodded. He separated the surrounding passengers and quickly walked towards Xiao Chen. Looking at Xiao Chen, he said directly, Kid, you should know who I am, right? How about this, take out 5,000 yuan for medical expenses, and I can help you settle this matter. Otherwise, you can just wait for death. Wave Club? Oh, I just beat up a bunch of people. They are all from the Wave Club. Xiao Chen smiled. What do you mean? Kid, you can't brag like this. You beat up a bunch of people? You mean you went to the Wave Club to challenge them? Brother De looked at Xiao Chen in amusement. What do I mean? Why don't you call Kai Wuliang and ask him? Xiao Chen smiled and said, You tell him that my name is Xiao Chong. And Brother De was stunned. He didn't expect the person in front of him to know young Master Kai, and he said it with certainty. He hesitated for a moment and still dialed Kai Wuliang's phone. Damn it, what's the matter? As soon as Kai Wuliang returned to the club, he received a call from Brother Da. This Da was one of his club's more valued subordinates. He controlled the thief business in Lon City. These thieves also had to pay protection fees to the Wave Club every month, and the Wave Club would also help them solve some problems when necessary. After all, thieves made money quickly. There were always some people who coveted their income. The The Wave Club was one of the gangs in Lon City, and also one of the most powerful gangs. With their protection, it naturally saved a lot of problems. Brother De was taken aback when he heard Kai Wooyoung's bad tone. He carefully said, "Brother De, on my side, I'm standing up for a guy we're protecting, but he's a little stubborn. He said that he just beat up a bunch of people from our club. Is he called Xiao Chong?" Kai Wooyoung was startled and quickly asked. "Yeah." Brother De broke out in a cold sweat. Since Kai Wooyoung knew this person, it meant that this person was telling the truth. "Hurry up and come back. Don't clash with him. You're not his match." Kai Wooyoung made a prompt decision. "Let me study this matter first." Yes. Brother De was so scared that his legs were trembling. So what Xiao Chong said was true. He beat up a bunch of people from the club. In that case, he was no match for him. Thinking of this, he hurriedly said, "Young Master Chong, right? I'm sorry, there's nothing else. I'm going back. And take that guy away. Tell him not to let me see him again. The next time I see him, it won't be as simple as throwing him down." Xiao Chen said, "You know me. I even dare to beat people from your club. It's normal for me to kill him." Yes, yes. Brother De nodded repeatedly. Then he grabbed the young man's collar. "Hurry up and apologize to young Master Chong. You provoked someone you shouldn't have. And you still asked me to stand up for you. I was almost beaten to death. Do you know that?" Young Master Chong, I'm sorry. The young man wasn't stupid. If Brother De couldn't deal with him, how could he? He hurriedly apologized and got out of the car with Brother De. Su Chuxia glanced at Xiao Chen faintly. She didn't think much of it. Isn't it impressive? Beating up a bunch of people is something glorious? He even said it as a topic of conversation. On the other side, in the Surge Club, Kai Wooyoung looked at the group of men wrapped in bandages in front of him. He was furious. Raising a group of trash like you is 2F** king useless. This young Master Kai, you can't blame us. That Xiao Chong is too good at fighting. I don't know where so much dust came from. I couldn't see anything at all. I was beaten up, and then I don't know anything." A man smiled bitterly. "All right, I'll think of another way." Kai Wooyoung turned around and entered the inner room of the Surge Club. Other than the core members of the club, no one could enter this place. There were a few people sitting here at the moment. It was just that the combination of these people was a little strange. However, Kai Wooyoung was already used to it. He nodded to these people and sat beside a middle-aged man. This middle-aged man was Kai Wooyoung's father, Kai Lehu. On the other side of Kai Lehu sat a young man in his 30s. This person was Kai Wooyoung's brother, Kai Woojin. And there were two other people here. One was dressed like a Taoist priest, and the other was a man with a small mustache and shifty eyes. "Mr. Kai, since we both need information on the research base, you want information on the development of new energy, and we want information on weapons. I think we can still cooperate," said the small mustache man. If you hadn't alerted the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and alerted them, increasing the difficulty of the matter, would you have come to me to cooperate? What did we talk about before? Now you're acting like a grandson in front of me?" Kai Lehu sneered and said, "Isn't your Sakura group awesome? Why can't it be this?" The small mustache man coughed twice and said, "Haha. I didn't expect Mr. Kai to be so powerful that you could even invite Taoist Master Lu Li. This poor Taoist is here to talk about cooperation with Mr. Kai. I hope that Mr. Kai can fund the renovation of our Taoist temple," said the Taoist priest. "Haha, it's all the same. If this matter is successful, there will be a lot of money. Not to mention the renovation of the Taoist temple. We can even build a few more." The small mustache man laughed. "Amateus, this poor Taoist can reluctantly participate for the sake of the people in the Taoist temple." Speaking up to this point, Taoist Master Lu Li suddenly changed the topic and asked, "How much money can I get?" Buffed. Kai Wooyoung, who was listening at the side, almost spurted out his saliva. This Taoist priest looked like an expert before, but he didn't expect that he would suddenly become like this when talking about money. However, Kai Lehu didn't care. Obviously, he knew the nature of Taoist Master Lu Li. What Mr. Yi Dao said is more or less the same. "Okay, I'm in." Taoist Master Lu Li directly made the decision. We need to think about this matter at length. Kai Lehu waved his hand and said, If it was before, I would definitely welcome you to join us, Taoist Master Lu Li. But now, Mr. Yi Dao has alerted us and wants to kidnap Su Chuxia. In the end, people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau were attracted. Now it will be difficult for us to get to the research base, or to deal with Su Chuxia. Then what should we do? Taoist Master Lu Li couldn't help but sigh. Previously, this poor Taoist was in seclusion, so this poor Taoist couldn't make a decision. I have an idea here. That is to let my son get close to Su Chuxia. As long as he succeeds in capturing Su Chuxia, it won't be difficult for him to sneak into the research base. As the son-in-law of the Su family, it won't be difficult for him to get the information. Kai Lehu said, However, this will be the credit of my son alone. It has nothing to do with you guys. Mr. Kai, didn't you want to cooperate with our Taoist temple previously? Taoist Master Lu Li said. That was before. Kai Lehu turned to look at Kai Wuliang and asked, How is it? Wuliang, didn't you say that you would soon catch up with Su Chuxia? Dad, something happened. Kai Wuliang said carefully with a darkened face. Something happened? What happened? Kai Lehu was stunned and immediately asked, What's going on? It's like this. Kai Wuliang carefully told him what happened today. Kai Wuliang's words made the eyes of Taoist Master Lu Li and Mr. Yi Dao, who were initially helpless, suddenly light up. What a twist! If Kai Wuliang couldn't handle Su Chuxia, they would need to work together. That Xiao Chang can fight? Even the coaches of our club are no match for him? Kai Lehu was a little surprised after hearing this. Those coaches were all inner force experts. Although their levels weren't high, and they couldn't be compared to the core fighters of the club, they were already very powerful outside. Yes, Dad. You will know the situation when you go and take a look later. Kai Wuliang said with a bitter smile. So that Xiao Chang is a martial artist. Could he be someone from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Kai Lehu frowned. If that was the case, then Kai Wuliang's plan to pursue Su Chuxia would definitely be affected. I don't think he's from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although he can fight, he doesn't seem to have any inner force. He purely relies on brute force to fight. Although many of our people are injured, they are all from brute force, so the injuries aren't particularly serious. Kai Wuliang said. If he's a high-level martial artist, he would have killed one or two. After all, it's impossible to control his strength so precisely. So this person is simply an admirer of Su Chuxia, right? Kai Lehu asked after hearing this. That should be the case. Kai Wuliang nodded. Okay. Kai Lehu nodded and said, Taoist Master Lu Li, Mr. Yi Dao, you heard it. This person is very good at fighting. If you want to work together, that's fine. Kill Xiao Chang or send him to the hospital. Just don't interfere with Kai Wuliang's business. This, Taoist Master Lu Li rubbed his chin, and didn't answer immediately. Kai Wuliang said one thing, but in reality, it might be another. Moreover, he didn't know if Xiao Chang had any accomplices, so he wouldn't agree rashly. On the other hand, Mr. Yi Dao didn't even think about it and said, No problem, leave it to me. I'll deal with him. Okay, if that's the case, I won't treat you badly when the matter is done. Kai Lehu nodded. Chapter 536. Alright, then I'll go back and make some preparations. I'll take my leave first. Mr. Yi Dao was also very anxious. He stood up and was about to leave. However, Taoist Lu Li's eyes flickered. He thought for a while and didn't say anything. He stood up and left. He had come to Kai Lehu for sponsorship, but Kai Lehu hadn't agreed. Instead, he had asked him to be a fighter. Today, Taoist Lu Li had waited for his uncle master to come out of seclusion and agree to this matter. However, things had changed again, and Xiao Chang had appeared. He didn't dare to make the decision, and could only go back first. After the two of them left, Kai Wuliang looked at his father strangely and asked, Dad, don't we have experts in our family too? Why do we have to get Yi Dao to help? If he helps, it will be equivalent to cooperating with us. Won't we still have to give him the resources? Kai Lehu looked at his eldest son, Kai Wujin, and asked, Wujin, Explain to Wuliang the reason behind this. Yes, father. I'll analyze it. Kai Wujin nodded his head. Wuliang, the person called Xiao Chang that you mentioned is very suspicious. How could he defeat so many warriors with just brute force? Our family's coaches are all at the stage 1 or 2 internal force. Even if they were to gang up on a stage 3 or 4 internal force expert, they would be able to make them vomit blood, let alone a normal person. Now that they have been beaten up by someone else, do you think that Xiao Chang is that simple? This, Kai Wuliang hadn't thought much about it before. He had only seen the surface. However, at this moment, after listening to his elder brother's analysis, he realized that something was wrong. This kid had ambushed him twice in a row, and he had also beaten up those coaches. If this was all brute force, it would be too much of a coincidence. Thinking of this, Kai Wuliang said, Then what you mean is that this Xiao Chang might have been sent by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? That might not be the case. Maybe he's the same as us. Some force wants to take over the research institute, Kai Lehu said. I see. Kai Wuliang slapped his thigh and said, Damn, I was wondering why this person would go against me. So that's the case. So, I asked that idiot Yi Dao to test it out. Anyway, we won't lose anything. What we promised was just a futures contract. We'll give it to him when we get the information. If not, we don't need to give it to him. Kai Lehu said, The information of that weapon is useless to us. We can't produce it, so it's better to give it to Night Island. It's really brilliant. Kai Wuliang couldn't help but admire after listening. What about that Taoist Luli? Don't worry about him for now. If Yi Dao can't do it, I'll let Luli take action. Kai Lehu said leisurely. Dad, then now Kai Wuliang looked at Kai Lehu. Try not to directly clash with that Xiao Chang. Although we have people, this kid is a little strange. I keep having the feeling that he is from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Kai Lehu said. So let someone else take the lead. I understand. Should I still pursue Su Chuxia? Kai Wuliang's pursuit of Su Chuxia was not purely because he had a mission, but because he really liked Su Chuxia. He transferred schools because of his family's mission, but after pursuing her for a few days, he realized that Su Chuxia was really not bad. It felt good to get her. Actually, I don't care where that Xiao Chang came from. I'll just kill him with one punch, and then capture Su Chuxia. I'll force Su Shufeng to hand over the information. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Kai Wujin stood up and stretched. Wujin, you can't take the lead. You are the trump card of our Kai family. Your strength must not be exposed. Kai Lehu said. Our Kai family's goal is to earn money and control the underground forces, not to fight for those superficial things. If your strength is exposed, then we will surpass the Shen family and become the #1 family in Lan City. That way, even if you don't expose the fact that you kidnapped Su Chuxia, the Su family will not let it go. I heard that the Su family has been making a lot of connections recently. They have connections with the Hong Chamber of Commerce and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I'm just saying. Kai Wujin smiled. It's really lonely. I thought that I would be able to do something big after I finished my studies. I didn't expect that I would still be tied down. The secular world is different from the pugilistic world. There are some things that we must be cautious about. Kai Lehu said. Of course, when our Kai family unknowingly occupies half of Lan City, it will be time to declare war on the Su family. The title of the true martial family in Lan City will definitely belong to our Kai family. After Mr. Yashima returned, he began to think of a way. Yashima's full name was Yashima Kikuo. He was a small leader of the Sakura group in the Great Xia Kingdom. He was in charge of spying and collecting high-tech business secrets. Number 19 Mata Road was Yashima Kikuo's property. It was an independent villa, and Yashima Kikuo's identity was the chairman of Lan City's Sakura Restaurant Management Company, Limited. He was in charge of developing Japanese cuisine. After entering the villa and lying on the sofa, Yashima Kikuo scrolled through his phone, thinking about how to deal with that Xiao Chang. Although he had promised, Yashima Kikuo was not stupid. It was impossible for him to send people over directly. The Kai family's instructors were all at stage 1 or stage 2 inner force. Even their leader was at stage 3 inner force. Yet they had been beaten to the ground and sent to the hospital. How could Yashima Kikuo send people to their deaths? Of course, there was another way, and that was to use the Polar Special Forces, which was actually the security team of the catering company. On the surface, these people were security guards, but in secret, they had undergone strict karate training. Although the training method was different from the martial artists in Great Xia, the end result was the same. They all improved their strength through training. These people also had inner force, and it wasn't low. However, Yashima Kikuo didn't want to expose this trump card unless it was absolutely necessary. Even Kai Leho didn't know about it. If he was targeted by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he would have no choice but to commit suicide when he returned to the organization. After hesitating for a moment, Yashima Kikuo dialed a number. After a while, the call was connected and he said, "Qianxue, come to my villa for a while." Yes, there was no hesitation on the other side of the phone, but it was a very pleasant female voice. Not long after, the sound of a car could be heard from outside the villa. A girl wearing tight clothes and a cool outfit walked in. Her tight trousers and patent leather high heels made the curves of her figure very attractive, showing the vitality and wild beauty of a young girl. The girl was about 1.65 meters tall. She had shoulder-length hair and a delicate face without any makeup. Her eyes were very big and bright. If it wasn't for her outfit, she would have been a cute girl. Ling Qianxue, on behalf of the Cherry Blossom Organization, I will give you an important task. Yashima Kikuo glanced at the girl in front of him, and greed flashed in his eyes. He had never touched this woman before. However, this kind of ninja, who was specially trained by the organization, would only be used when carrying out important tasks. Naturally, he wouldn't touch her at will. Yes, Ling Qianxue replied loudly with a poker face. Please give me your instructions, Master Yashima. I want you to get close to a man, and then spy on his background. If he doesn't have any background, kill him. If he has a background, find a way to uncover it, and try to gain his trust. Is there a problem? Yashima Kikuo asked. No. Ling Qianxue replied loudly. Very well. If it is necessary to sacrifice your body, what will you do? Yashima Kikuo asked. Ling Qianxue's originally expressionless and delicate face flashed with hesitation, but then she said decisively, for the sake of Master Cherry Blossom, I can sacrifice everything, including my life. Well, very good. Yashima Kikuo was very satisfied with Ling Qianxue's answer. Then he said, from tomorrow onwards, you will go to the High School of New Moon Academy in Lan City. You will be a transfer student, and your name in Great Xia is Ling Qianxue. Your target is called Xiaochang. You will know when you get there. Yes, Ling Qianxue replied loudly. After sending Ling Qianxue away, Yorishima Kikuo looked at Ling Qianxue's exquisite back and felt a burst of desire. A ninja like her would definitely be different if he were to play with her. She was much better than the two retired actresses that he secretly kept. Unable to suppress the fire in his heart, Yorishima Kishio directly went upstairs to look for the two actresses to play with. Looking at Xiao Chang, who got out of the car with her, Su Chuxiao felt a headache coming on. She had already planned for Xiao Chang to be the same as Kai Wuliang. He had just arrived at school and was already causing trouble. Since yesterday morning, he had inexplicably caused trouble for Kai Wuliang. Until now, he had lost count of the number of fights he had gotten into. To be honest, Su Chuxia did not like such a person at all. In her opinion, students should study hard. What was the point of fighting every day? After taking 2 steps, she saw that Xiao Chun was still following behind her. Su Chuxia was very depressed. Xiao Chang, you go first. I'm going to buy something. Ah, that's great. I want to buy something too. Let's go together. Xiao Chun patted his head and said hurriedly. Then I won't buy anything. Su Chuxia was a little speechless. I don't think I have anything to buy. I must have remembered wrongly, Xiao Chun said in a sudden realization. You. Su Chuxia was so angry that she stomped her feet. She ignored Xiao Chun and turned around to leave. However, she did not go in the direction of the neighborhood. Instead, she went in another direction. Near the neighborhood, there was a large comprehensive shopping mall. The nearby residents would come here to buy things. Perhaps because of the location, the things here were not expensive. The level of consumption here was very ordinary. Su Chuxia ignored Xiao Chen and hurried to the shopping mall. When she entered the door, she saw Xiao Chen still following her from the reflection of the revolving door. She was so angry that she almost kicked the door shut. This person is so shameless. He keeps following me. I don't know what he wants. He's even more annoying than Kai Wuliang. Chapter 537. At most, Kai Wuliang would pester her in school, and not all the time. He would pester her once a day, sometimes once every few days. However, this Xiao Chong would pester her every day. Furthermore, he would pester her even after school. Did she still have her freedom? Walking into the mall, Xiao Chen had been following Su Chuxia from behind, maintaining a safe distance. When Su Chuxia stopped to look at things, he also stopped and stood behind her. Su Chuxia had no choice but to turn a blind eye to it and start to seriously pick out the items. She didn't come to the mall just to get rid of Xiao Chen. The weather was a little cold now, and she wanted to buy a scarf from last year. During the new year, she was watching the fireworks in the yard, but Tian Suruan released a small bee that landed on her and burned a big hole in the scarf. Su Chuxia was so angry that she almost set Tian Suruan on fire. After walking around for a while, Su Chuxia took a fancy to a scarf. This was a more popular pattern this year, but the real brand was too expensive. Su Chuxia could only choose a good quality and reasonable price. Excuse me, is this scarf made of pure cashmere? Su Chuxia pointed at the scarf and asked the owner of the stall. Yes, pure cashmere. Look at the fiber and quality. If you don't believe me, I'll burn it with a lighter. A fat woman said with a smile. Oh, how much is this? Su Chuxia touched it and felt that the quality was not bad, so she asked. 300, the fat woman said. 300. Su Chuxia felt that it was a little expensive. She thought for a moment and asked, can it be cheaper? Little girl, it's not expensive. Look, this is cashmere. If it were Ordos or Burberry, it would be a few thousand. I only have 300. How cheap is it? The fat woman said. Oh. Su Chuxia stood there hesitating. Is it for 100? Xiao Chen walked over and said. 100? Are you kidding? The fat woman was stunned and immediately said. Oh, never mind then. Chuxia, let's just buy it online. Look, it says here that it's going to be double 12th soon. And there's a promotion. It's 99 renminbi now. And you can use a 10 renminbi red packet on double 12th. So it's 89 renminbi. Xiao Chen said. It's the same as this one. Really? Su Chuxia rarely went online. She was slightly taken aback when she saw the phone that Xiao Chen handed over. Then I'll sell it to you for 100 yuan. The chubby woman quickly offered when she saw Su Chuxia hesitating. Although it was a little less, she could still make 30 yuan. Otherwise, it would all be for nothing. Su Chuxia was speechless. She couldn't even convince him to say a single cent. But Xiao Chen reduced the price by a third with just one sentence. However, Su Chuxia found it a little hard to understand. Logically speaking, he should be a person who was very good at pretending and showing off. Why would he bargain when buying things? Shouldn't they be able to do whatever they want with money? Wouldn't that be more attractive to girls? Although, he didn't like it, many girls did. 100 yuan is more like it. Pay up, Xiao Chen said to Su Chuxia. Pay up. Su Chuxia was taken aback, and she subconsciously said, Aren't you going to pay for me? Me. Xiao Chen was also taken aback. Su Chuxia's face turned red, and she was a little annoyed. She was tricked by Xiao Chen to the point that her thoughts were a little unclear. This was because Xiao Chen was always the one who rushed to pay for the things she bought before. So she subconsciously thought that Xiao Chen would also pay for the things he bought. However, Xiao Chen didn't do so, which made Su Chuxia feel a little puzzled. That was why she asked this question. However, after asking, she felt embarrassed. She quickly took out 100 yuan from her pocket to pay the bill, wrapped her scarf, and quickly left. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly as he watched Su Chuxia leave. This girl was quite interesting, but Xiao Chen also knew that he couldn't have any other thoughts about her. This was a mission, and his current identity was Yang Tan. Su Chuxia bought the scarf and went upstairs. On the second floor of the mall was a supermarket. Su Chuxia pushed a shopping cart into the supermarket, planning to buy some daily necessities. She lived alone and had to rely on herself for everything, so she had to go to the supermarket every once in a while. Today she happened to be here, so she bought some necessities. Xiao Chen also just rented a house, so naturally, he also pushed a shopping cart and began to load the things inside. Su Chuxia watched as Xiao Chen also bought things behind him, and she didn't know what to say. The two of them walked and stopped. Not long after, the cart was full. When it was time to pay, Xiao Chen found a queue with about the same number of people as Su Chuxia. The purpose was to pay at the same time, so he wouldn't lose Su Chuxia. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen finished paying first. Su Chuxia waited for a while before she finished. She bought a lot of things, and it was very complicated, so it took some time. After leaving the supermarket, Su Chuxia was obviously a little hungry, so she went to the fast food center opposite the supermarket. She bought a bean rice set and a drink, then found a place to sit down. As for Xiao Chen, he also ordered a spare rib rice set and sat at the table opposite Su Chuxia. Su Chuxia wanted to stand up and leave, but she remembered that she had already started eating, so she could only endure it. However, after eating 2 mouthfuls, she put down her chopsticks and stared straight at Xiao Chen. When her gaze made him a little uncomfortable, Su Chuxia finally said, "Xiao Chang, do you know that doing this will only make me hate you even more? Don't even mention pursuing me. It's impossible for us to even be ordinary friends." "Okay." Xiao Chen casually agreed and continued eating his spare rib rice. To be honest, this place's spare rib rice was quite delicious, much better than the noodles from yesterday. "Xiao Chang, did you hear what I said?" Su Chuxia asked angrily. "Yes, I didn't pursue you," Xiao Chen said. "Su Chuxia, do you believe that there are many coincidences in this world? Only a ghost would believe that." Su Chuxia picked up her plate. Even though she was halfway through her meal, she still changed her position and sat down at another seat. However, Xiao Chen didn't care and continued eating his spare rib rice. He ate very quickly and finished his meal. Su Chuxia hadn't finished her meal yet, so Xiao Chen was waiting for her. After Su Chuxia finished her meal, she stood up. Xiao Chen also stood up. Su Chuxia sat down again, and so did Xiao Chen. "Xiao Chang, didn't you tell me that it was a coincidence? Then what do you mean now?" Su Chuxia asked angrily. "Now it's a coincidence," Xiao Chen said shamelessly. Su Chuxia snorted and left with her things. Xiao Chen followed behind her. The two of them returned to the neighborhood one after another. Su Chuxia entered her unit, and Xiao Chen entered his rented unit. However, Su Chuxia didn't go upstairs. Instead, she hid at the window on the first floor and watched Xiao Chen. When she saw him enter the opposite unit, she frowned in confusion. Did he really live here? Did he really go shopping? Could there really be such a coincidence? Su Chuxia shook her head and returned home. The next morning, Xiao Chen coincidentally bumped into Su Chuxia as soon as he went out. Su Chuxia was already on the verge of a breakdown because of Xiao Chen. She pretended not to see him and allowed him to follow behind her. Today, Xiao Chen was a little surprised that Kai Wuliang didn't find fault with him. He successfully entered the school and entered the class, but he didn't encounter any difficulties. Could it be that Kai Wuliang was afraid of being beaten up and decided to give up? However, this was for the best. It saved Xiao Chen a lot of trouble. After entering the classroom, just as Xiao Chen sat down in his seat, Tian Suruan came over and sat on Xiao Chen's desk. Her 2 beautiful little legs swayed. Xiao Chen thought that it would be great if her skirt was facing him. "Xiao Chen, reimburse me. We agreed on the car repair fee." Tian Suruan took out a car repair receipt and handed it to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen took a look. He didn't expect this car to cost a few thousand yuan just for a paint job. It was really expensive. However, this amount of money was nothing to him. He was about to pay when Li Yuanxiu walked over and snatched the receipt. She glanced at it and said, "Forget it, Suruan. I'll settle the bill with the 4S shop." Don't let Xiaochang pay. Ah, it's fine as long as you don't care about it. Sister Suruin can rest assured. Tian Suruin didn't care who had to pay as long as it wasn't her. Li Yuanxiu didn't care about the car repair fee. Instead, she took the opportunity to sit beside Xiaochun and said to him, Xiaochang, tell me, are you a martial artist? Do I look like one to you? However, Xiaochun smiled and asked, Also, I'll pay for the car repair fee. It's not much. You don't look like one. You didn't use your inner force yesterday, right? Li Yuanxiu shook her head. Forget about the car repair fee. My girlfriend's family is rich. She doesn't need this little bit of money. What I want to tell you is that if you're not a martial artist, it's best not to get involved in too many conflicts in the pugilistic world. The Kai family isn't simple. In this Lan city, those who offended them, other than the Shun family, were not retaliated against the others. The Shun family? Xiaochun's heart skipped a beat. Does this mean that the Kai family is the second most influential family in Lan City? That's not it. What I mean is that the Kai family doesn't want to be taken advantage of. Even if they can't do it openly, they might use underhanded means. Li Yuanxiu said, This Kai Wuliang used to be doing well in the sports school. I don't know why he suddenly transferred here and started chasing after Su Chuxia. He's really a troublesome person. Xiaochun nodded. It was hard for these disciples of great clans to explain why they were doing something. Perhaps it was the intention of the clan, or perhaps there was some other deeper meaning. Thank you for your kind intentions, but a grudge has already been formed. If they want to cause trouble for me, I'll just have to take it on. There's no other way. That's fine too. Li Yuanxiu said, There's one more thing. After you left yesterday, Director Chiu investigated what happened. No matter what, you were involved in the fight yesterday. I'm afraid Director Chiu will cause trouble for you. Director Chiu hates students who don't study and come to school to waste their time. Chapter 538. Hehe, that doesn't seem to be me. I still love to study, Xiaochun said. As he spoke, the bell rang. The form teacher, Ms. Chun, walked into the classroom. Along with her was Director Chiu. Kai Wuliang was at the end of the corridor. He watched Director Chiu walk into grade 12 class 9 from afar. A hint of smugness flashed across his face. Even if he couldn't expel Xiaochang, he would definitely punish Xiaochang this time. Everyone, please be quiet. Before class, Director Chiu has a few words to say, Ms. Chun said to the students in the classroom. The classroom suddenly became quiet. Then, Director Chiu walked up to the podium, cleared his throat, and said, The next thing I want to say is about the new transfer student, Xiaochang. Li Yuanxiu looked at Xiaochun sympathetically and shrugged his shoulders. What he meant was, look, it's here, right? Chuxia, do you think Xiaochang will be in trouble? I heard that Kai Wuliang accused Xiaochang of beating someone up yesterday, Tian Sauer said. Do you think Sister Sauer should stand up and reveal the truth? Who cares, he's not a good person. Su Chuxia thought about how Xiaochun followed her all the way yesterday and couldn't help but say hatefully. From Su Chuxia's point of view, it was better to let Xiaochun know. Otherwise, he would follow her every day and almost become her shadow. Last night after school, there was a vicious fight on our school field. Director Chiu paused and looked at Xiaochun. Then he continued. Our good student Xiaochang was surrounded and beaten up by the unemployed people that Kai Wuliang organized. Luckily, Xiaochang ran away quickly. Then, the people that Kai Wuliang found were in a mess and couldn't see clearly. They fought with each other and ended up in the hospital. This behavior is simply outrageous. Today, I came to grade 12 class 9 to praise Xiaochang for his decisiveness. I also want to say that everyone should learn from Xiaochang. When you encounter trouble, don't fight head-on. Be smart and choose to escape. Alright, what I want to say next is that this time, student Xiaochang obtained first place in the entire cohort in the monthly test. Now everyone should congratulate him. The whole class was stunned. After all, this was the main point. This transfer student actually got first place in the whole grade. However, Li Yuanxiu, Su Chuxia and Tian Suruin, who knew the truth, were dumbfounded. Xiao Chang was the one who beat him up and sent him to the hospital. How could he be praised? However, when Director Chiu said that Xiao Chang was the top student in the whole year, Li Yuanqiu was not surprised. He knew Director Chiu's character too well. In Director Chiu's eyes, the only criterion for a good student was their academic results. A good student could cover up all the ugly things. Xiao Chun had good results, so he was a good student. The other bad things were done by others, and had nothing to do with Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun was also stunned. When he heard Director Chiu talking about the fight last night, he thought he was going to scold him. He didn't expect that Director Chiu would praise him in the end. This really made him at a loss. No one was more surprised than Su Chuxia. She had initially thought that Xiao Chun was a bad student like Kai Wuliang. How did he suddenly become the top student in the entire grade? She couldn't believe it. A guy who fought all day and tailed a girl was the top student in the whole grade. However, it was impossible to say that he copied first place. Who did he copy from? Wow, Chuxia, we seem to have made a mistake. This Xiao Chang is really a strong person. Tian Suruan was also extremely shocked. I thought he was a poor loser, but he turned out to be a tall, rich, and handsome scholar. He's more like a school tyrant. Su Chuxia snorted and said with a bitter face, Suruan, you don't know this. He lives in the same neighborhood as me and follows me every day. I really can't take it anymore. Huh? You live in the same neighborhood? Is that true? It can't be. Tian Suruan looked at Su Chuxia in surprise. Why didn't you tell me? I thought that he said that because he deliberately followed me. But yesterday I saw him really enter a unit in the neighborhood. Su Chuxia said. Do you think there's such a coincidence? Then it really is a coincidence. Tian Suruan was also very surprised after hearing this. Could it be that he deliberately went to your neighborhood to rent an apartment? And it's possible. Su Chuxia was stunned. Why didn't she think of this before? Now that she thought about it, it was really possible. Thinking of this, Su Chuxia said, Suruan, why don't you stay at my place tonight and help me see what's going on? Go to your house. Tian Suruan frowned. There's nothing delicious in your house. I can't eat breakfast well, and my dinner isn't delicious either. Sigh. Are you going or not? Su Chuxia snorted. Go ahead. Sister Suruan's life is so hard. Tian Suruan complained. Chuxia, can't you learn some culinary skills? I think the food I cook is very delicious. Su Chuxia said. It's you who's too greedy. You insist on eating meat. Sigh. You don't understand how attractive food is to me. Tian Suruan said. Why don't we go to your house after Xiao Chang treats us to barbecue tonight? Su Chuxia glared at Tian Suruan. Forget it. We'll just go to your house and eat something. Tian Suruan compromised. Actually, Xiao Chun didn't expect that he would be able to get first place. If it were Songning Second High School, he wouldn't be able to get first place with the same performance. It was probably because the pressure to enter a higher school in Lon City was relatively low that this happened. The most unfortunate one was none other than Kai Wuliang. Early in the morning, Director Chiu called him over and gave him a good scolding. He was even given a disciplinary action, warning him that he would be expelled if he gathered any more idlers in the school. Yesterday, Director Chiu clearly wanted to deal with Xiao Chang. Why was he the one in trouble today? Could it be that Xiao Chang really had a powerful background that even Director Chiu wanted to please? However, very soon, his informant in grade 12 class 9 sent him news. It turned out that Xiao Chang's grades were too good, causing Director Chiu to look at him differently. He didn't believe that he was a bad student at all. Kai Wuliang must have been the one to complain about the fight after school. Kai Wuliang was really speechless, but there was nothing he could do. He could only wait for Yishima Kikuo to make his move. Alright, other than that, I would like to introduce a new student to everyone. As Director Chiu spoke, he waved his hand toward the outside of the classroom. At this moment, a cute kawaii girl wearing a pink woolen coat walked into the classroom. She had a shiny star hairpin in her hair and was carrying a delicate little backpack. The appearance of the girl immediately caused a commotion among the boys in the class. Such a cute transfer student, who looked like a next-door sister, made these boys salivate. Although Su Chuxia was also pretty, she was Kai Wuliang's. Moreover, Kai Wuliang might not be able to catch up to her. Su Chuxia didn't really like to talk to unfamiliar people. She also kept a respectful distance from the boys in the class, and was very difficult to get close to. However, the girl in front of them looked very sweet and amiable. If they could get her as a girlfriend, it would definitely be a kind of enjoyment. Hello everyone, my name is Ling Qianxue. My father used to work in Japan, and I went to school there. I just came back recently. My Mandarin might not be very good, so please give me some pointers. Ling Qianxue's Mandarin was indeed a little choppy, but it was very pleasant to the ears. Her tone was soft and sweet, just like honey. As soon as Ling Qianxue's voice fell, there was a warm applause from the audience. It was much more enthusiastic than when Xiao Chen came. Cute girls always had a lot of people supporting them. Even some girls applauded for her. Ling Qianxue, do you have any requirements for your seat? Director Chiu asked. He had obtained the reference room. Ling Qianxue was also a good student who excelled in both academic and moral conduct. The files she had brought over showed that she had excellent grades in all subjects. Therefore, Director Chiu had a very good impression of her and naturally took good care of her. Ling Qianxue's face was slightly red. She said to Director Chiu, Director Chiu, I want to sit with a good student. Can you give me some pointers? Ling Qianxue is studying abroad. After she comes back, she might not be able to keep up with the progress of her studies here. Therefore, in order to allow Ling Qianxue to catch up with her studies as soon as possible, I think she should sit at the same table as Xiao Chang. There just so happens to be an empty seat there. Director Chiu nodded and said. When Director Chiu said this, all the boys in the class looked at Xiao Chun with envy. However, they couldn't be envious. This wasn't luck, it was because he really had the ability. Alright, may I ask, which one is Xiao Chang? Ling Qianxue asked. It's this row, the last seat. It's a bit behind, but he's the best student. He's the first in the entire year. Director Chiu introduced. Alright, thank you, Director Chiu. After Ling Qianxue finished speaking, she walked towards Xiao Chun and sat beside Xiao Chun. She said to Xiao Chun, Student Xiao Chang, please take care of me. Alright, take care of each other. Xiao Chun couldn't tell what Ling Qianxue's background was. However, he had just transferred to another school. So Xiao Chun felt that it was a little strange that another transfer student had followed him. However, Xiao Chun felt that he didn't have much interaction with the forces of Japan. Other than the time when the Xiao family was deceived by two foreign businessmen who pretended to be from Japan, he didn't have any other contact. During class, Xiao Chun pretended to listen attentively, but he was secretly observing Ling Qianxue. However, he discovered that there was nothing special about her. She had been listening attentively to the teacher's lecture. Xiao Chun was relieved. As long as this person didn't harm Su Chuxia, it wouldn't matter. Chuxia, that Ling Qianxue is so cute. She actually surpassed Sister Sour Sour. Tian Sour Sour was a little depressed. She was originally quite cute, and her skin was the color of wheat. In the class other than Su Chuxia, she was the most outstanding. She didn't expect that there would be another cute student. I think it's quite good. She's sitting at the same table as Xiao Chang. Xiao Chang will pay attention to her, so he won't bother me. Su Chuxia was quite happy. Chapter 539. From Su Chuxia's point of view, Xiao Chang only cared about her beauty. Now that Ling Qianxue, who was on par with her, came back and was his deskmate, Xiao Chang should be able to change his target now, right? After class, Xiao Chen saw Su Chuxia leaving the classroom. He wanted to follow her, but Ling Qianxue stopped him. Hello, Xiao Chang. Oh, hello. Xiao Chen looked at Ling Qianxue strangely. What's the matter? It's like this. I want to ask you a question. Is that okay? Ling Qianxue's face was red, and her big eyes blinked as she looked at Xiao Chen. Her gaze was filled with anticipation. This made Xiao Chen a little reluctant to reject her. He thought about it. Su Chuxia was in school, so there shouldn't be any danger. If he directly rejected Ling Qianxue, it would be too abrupt. Thus he said, no problem. Go ahead. This is the question. Ling Qinxue picked up the exercise book in her hand and asked Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen looked at it. It was a somewhat complicated three-dimensional geometry question. Many times, people's three-dimensional thinking would lead to misunderstandings. This question was a misconception, so it was normal that Ling Qinxue didn't know how to do it. Xiao Chen took out a piece of toilet paper and quickly explained it to Ling Qinxue. Ling Qinxue was also very smart and understood many things with just a hint. She nodded repeatedly. I understand. Thank you, Xiao Chang. Thank you. You don't have to be so polite. We're deskmates. Xiao Chen was a little embarrassed by Ling Qinshue's politeness. In order to express my gratitude, this is the sushi I brought for breakfast. I haven't eaten it yet, so I'll give it to you, Ling Qinxue said as she took out a lunchbox from her bag. There were a few very exquisite pieces of sushi in it. I've already eaten breakfast. Xiao Chen didn't expect Ling Qinxue to be so polite. However, thinking about it, it might be the custom of her time in Japan. He seemed to remember that in TV and anime, Japanese girls were very polite and often gave their classmates homemade snacks. Try it, Xiao Qinxue. This is Qinshue's gift. Ling Qinxue held the lunchbox with both hands and said firmly, All right then, I'll try one. Xiao Chen couldn't refuse, so he opened the lunchbox, took out a piece of sushi, and stuffed it into his mouth. Needless to say, it was not bad. This kind of thing didn't have much seasoning, but it was enough to show Ling Qinshue's dexterous hands to make it so delicious. At that moment, Su Chuxia walked into the classroom with Tian Yoshi. She saw Ling Qinxue holding a lunchbox and Xiao Chen stuffing a piece of sushi into his mouth. She couldn't help but frown. I didn't expect Xiao Chang to be so amazing. It's only one lesson, and he's already eating with Ling Qinxue? Tian Saori was a little surprised. That's sushi. It looks delicious. Sister Saori wants to eat it too. Don't go and embarrass yourself. Su Chuxia pulled Tian Suruan back and said, Don't stir things up. If Xiao Chang gets together with her, it will save me a lot of trouble. I thought you would be a little disappointed. Tian said sourly. What am I disappointed about? Su Chuxia was confused. According to the books, girls are all like this. If someone pursues them, they'll be annoyed. If no one pursues them, they'll be unhappy. Tian Sour said. That's you. Su Chuxia smiled. I love it. Tian Sour said. Moreover, these little boys don't know how to appreciate it. My wheat-colored skin is the cutest and sexiest. Don't you see that many celebrities deliberately make their skin color like this? It's just that these little kids like big white beauties. Xiao Chen ate a piece of sushi and said, It's very delicious. Alright, you can eat the rest. Since it's delicious, I'll give it to you. Student Xiao, treat it as lunch. Ling Qinxue said. That's not good. This is your food. Xiao Chen refused. Student Xiao, if you don't want it, Qinxue won't be able to ask you questions next time. Ling Qinxue insisted. Alright. Xiao Chen had no choice but to accept it. Then he said, However, I'll eat half. I'll leave the rest for you. Yes. Ling Qinxue didn't refuse this time. She nodded. Student Xiao, why are you so good at studying? Do you have any experience that you can pass on to Qinxue? Xiao Chen really didn't know what to say. He was a cultivator and had the ability to remember everything he saw. Naturally, his grades were good, but Ling Qinxue didn't. Is it hard to say? It's okay. Ling Qinxue saw that Xiao Chen wanted to say something, so she said it. It's not that. I just have a good memory. It's hard to have any experience when it comes to studying. Otherwise, the teacher would have told us long ago, right? Xiao Chen explained. Yes, student Xiao is right. I'm too eager for quick success. Ling Qinxue nodded. Student Xiao, you're so good at studying. Why are you sitting in the last row? I'm the same as you. I just transferred here a few days ago, Xiao Chen said casually. Ah, you also transferred here. Then which school were you in before? Ling Qinxue asked. I used to be in Songning. Xiao Chen said. I'm about the same as you. My family came here to work, so I followed. I see. I didn't expect you to get the first place when you just came. You're really amazing, Ling Qinxue said. You're also very smart. It's okay to work hard. Xiaochen chatted with Ling Qianxue. Then can you tell me some stories about going to school here? Ling Qianxue said. When I was very young, I went to school in Japan with my father. I don't know much about the things here in Xia. Xiaochen couldn't tell much. He could only randomly pick some stories about going to school in Songning, such as basketball matches, sports meetings, and so on. Ling Qianxue listened with great interest. From time to time, she would ask some questions. Xiaochen also answered her one by one. This class was a self-study class. Xiaochen had nothing to do anyway, so he told Ling Qianxue stories. Until the end of the class, Ling Qianxue still wanted to continue. She said with some envy, "Unfortunately, I'm already in grade 12 now. These activities are gone. There should be." Xiaochen didn't know much about New Moon Academy. He guessed that in New Moon Academy, if the pressure to enter a higher school wasn't that big, grade 12 should also have activities. I'm talking about my previous school. There isn't that much pressure to enter a higher school here. I guess there are still activities. Ling Qianxue nodded. Oh yeah, what does student Zhao's family do? Why did you suddenly transfer to this school? Nothing much. My family is in business. It's just that my family's business moved here, Xiaochen said. I see. It's about the same as Qianxue. Dad also came here because of company matters, Ling Qianxue said. Xiaochen nodded. He felt that this Ling Qianxue was a chatterbox. Once she started talking, there would be no end. She seemed to love studying, but she was also a curious baby. She was curious about everything. At noon, Xiaochen noticed that Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan had gone to the cafeteria for lunch. When he returned to the classroom, he found that Ling Qianxue was preparing for lunch. The table was filled with snacks. This made Xiaochen a little surprised. Was she here for school or to eat? Her bag in the morning wasn't big. Could it be that it was filled with food and not a single book? That couldn't be. Then where did her exercise books come from? Classmate Xiao, come and eat with us. This is the lunch I brought. It's a little too much for me to finish. Ling Qianxue waved at Xiaochen enthusiastically. Xiaochen took a look. They were all cold sashimi, tuna, codfish, snapper, yellow pomfret, red clam, salmon, and so on. There were also some vegetables and rice balls. It was okay to taste these things occasionally. If it was eaten as a meal, Xiaochen probably wouldn't be full. You prepared so much? Xiaochen sat down and asked Ling Qianxue, who was still arranging the food. It's all right. My family is in the food business, so I've liked to make my own food since I was young. Classmate Xiaochen, let's eat together. Ling Qianxue arranged the last dish, and then invited Xiaochen. Okay, then I won't stand on ceremony. Xiaochen ate some, but it wasn't enough. Fortunately, he was a cultivator, so it didn't matter if he ate a little. When Ling Qianxue saw that Xiaochen only ate a few mouthfuls, she asked, Classmate Xiao, are you not used to the taste? It's all right, but I still like to eat more traditional food. This kind of food doesn't feel full, Xiaochen explained. If that's the case, then Qianxue will prepare some food tomorrow, Ling Qianxue said. There's no need to trouble yourself. I'll just go to the cafeteria to eat. Xiaochen was shocked. This Ling Qianxue seemed to be a little too good to him. Was it just because he helped her with her homework? It's okay. Other than reading and studying, Qianxue's favorite thing is to make food, Ling Qianxue said. At this time, Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan returned from dinner in the cafeteria. They happened to see Xiaochen and Ling Qianxue eating a table of delicious food together. Tian Suruan's eyes were a little dazed. Suruan, can you not be so useless? Isn't it just some sashimi? What's so good about it? Don't embarrass yourself, Su Chuxia said. If you want to eat it, I'll go to the market tonight to buy you a salmon. You can eat it like salmon. Aya, Sister Suruan is really unlucky to have such a bad friend. Tian Suruan said gloomily. Salmon isn't delicious. It's good enough that there's food. Su Chuxia was a little happy in her heart. It seemed that Xiao Chong had completely given up on her, and had begun to look for a new target. The afternoon passed quickly. In the afternoon, Ling Qianxue didn't look for Xiaochen to chat anymore. Instead, she read her book and listened to the class seriously. It wasn't until school was over and when she was packing her things that she asked Xiao Chun, "Classmate Xiao, where are you going later?" Chapter 540. Of course I'll take the bus back, Xiao Chun said. Oh, Qinxue has a car. I can give you a ride. Ling Qinxue blushed and blinked her big eyes at Xiao Chun. Oh, it's okay, I'll take the bus. Xiao Chun was stunned. Ling Qinshue's family was quite wealthy. She had a car right after returning to the country. However, Xiao Chun's mission was to protect Su Chuxia, not to play with Ling Qinxue. Naturally, it was not appropriate for him to take her car. Okay, then Qinxue will leave first. Ling Qinxue didn't insist. She nodded and left with her bag. The boys all stared at her until she walked out of the classroom. They all had perverted expressions on their faces. Xiao Chun waited for Su Chuxia and Tian Souring to pack their things before following them out of the classroom. Tian Souring said as he walked, "Chuxia, then I don't have to go to your house today, right?" Xiao Chong has changed his target and is starting to pursue Ling Qianxue. I see. Just as Su Chuxia was about to agree, she subconsciously turned around and realized that Xiao Chun was following them from a distance. She immediately fainted. Sour, didn't you say that he changed his target? Why is he still following me? Tian Souring turned around and slapped her forehead. Oh my god. It seems like he didn't see Ling Qianxue. Then what should we do? Su Chuxia was a little depressed. Who knows? I can only go back with you, Tian Souring said. Fortunately, tomorrow is the weekend. It doesn't matter. Let's sleep in and go play video games together. Chuxia, you haven't invited me to play video games in a long time. Why are you so poor? You should change your name to Poor Souring. I really don't know how a young mistress like you is doing. Su Chuxia was a little speechless. Hee. Sister Souring is in a difficult situation. Tian Souring laughed dryly. The two of them walked to the bus stop. As expected, Xiao Chun followed them. Tian Souring sighed and went to find Xiao Chun. Xiao Chong, do you like Chuxia that much? I think that Ling Qianxue is also not bad. Tian sourly said. I think you're not bad. But I have to go home, right? Xiao Chun shrugged and said. Go home. Tian sourly said. Why don't you invite me to your house later? We'll have dinner at your place tonight. What do you want to eat? Xiao Chun was surprised. Why don't you make something delicious? Tian sourly advised. If you serve Sister Sourly well, Sister Sourly will put in a few good words for you, so that Chuxia won't hate you so much. Haha, sure. Xiao Chun wasn't interested in pursuing Su Chuxia anyway, so he didn't mind Tian Wangshuan's blatant attempt to scam him. Tian Suruan didn't say that he wanted Su Chuxia to like him. He only said that she didn't hate him. It was obvious that he didn't have any benefits, but this was the result that Xiao Chun wanted. What are we going to eat? Shall we buy it later? Tian Wangshuan's mouth watered when he heard Xiao Chun agree. Oh, we'll pass by the farmer's market later and buy some ingredients. I'll go back and cook, Xiao Chun said. Huh? Tian Wangshuan looked at Xiao Chun in shock. You cook? If I don't cook, you'll cook? Xiao Chun asked back. I didn't know that you know how to cook? Tian Wangshuan was a little surprised. No way. Are you a good man of the modern era? I live alone, of course I know how to cook. Xiao Chun didn't think there was anything strange about it. Doesn't Su Chuxia know how to cook too? How do you know she knows how to cook? Tian Wangshuan asked curiously. Oh, I guessed. She probably lives alone. Xiao Chun naturally couldn't say that he used binoculars to spy on her. All right, then I'll try your cooking, Tian Wangshuan said. What do you know how to cook? I'll cook whatever you eat, Xiao Chun said. Huh? Tian Wangshuan's eyes widened. Really? Can I order then? Okay. Xiao Chun also wanted to serve Tian Wangshuan well. After all, she was Su Chuxia's best friend. With her help, it would save him a lot of trouble. I want to eat black pepper beef, sweet and sour carp, steamed eggs with oysters, vegetarian stir-fry, dried cauliflower, pork ribs, green beans. Tian Wangshuan listed a bunch of dishes, and then looked at Xiao Chun proudly. Oh, Xiao Chun nodded. Do you remember all of them? Let me tell you, If you miss one, hee hee hee. Don't blame me for not keeping my promise. Tian Wangchuan said with a sneaky smile. Oh, Xiao Chen naturally knew what Tian Wangchuan was thinking. There were so many dishes, and he couldn't cook them all. Even if he could, he might miss a few dishes. Then, Tian Wangchuan could use that as an excuse not to help. This girl was a foodie. She wanted to eat, but she didn't want to offend Su Chuxia. After that, Tian Wangchuan turned around and returned to Su Chuxia. Wangchuan, why are you guys talking? What did you say? Su Chuxia asked quickly. Let's go to his house to eat later. Tian Wangchuan said. Go to his house? Su Chuxia looked at Tian Wangchuan in disbelief. Did you turn against him? No, he said he knew how to cook. So I was thinking let's go eat and see. I think he's just putting on an act, trying to make himself look like a good man of the new era. He wants to win your favor. But when the time comes, if he does badly, you'll have an excuse to ignore him. Tian sourly said. What do you think? My idea isn't bad, right? What if I do a good job? Su Chuxia retorted. Then we can also use the excuse that we don't like it and ignore him. Once and for all. Tian Wangchuan said. If that's the case. Su Chuxia thought about it and felt that something was wrong. However, she still nodded and said, okay, then I'll listen to you. But if he says it doesn't taste good after eating his food, I don't feel good. Do you want to get rid of him? Tian Wangchuan asked seriously. Then okay. Su Chuxia nodded. After a while, a Route 82 bus arrived. The three of them got on the bus together. This time, they didn't need Xiao Chen's protection. Tian Wangchuan took the initiative and said, Xiao Chang, come here and stand behind us. Don't let anyone take advantage of us. Sister Wangchuan is very good at attracting wolves. Xiao Chen glanced at Tian Wangchuan and thought to himself, it would be strange if you don't attract wolves with your miniskirt. Especially with your black gal skin color. You look like a chick in a XX movie. On the way, because Xiao Chen stood behind the two of them, Su Chuxia didn't say anything to Tian Wangchuan. She just looked out the window. On the other hand, Tian Wangchuan kept scrolling through his phone. She didn't know what he was playing. When they arrived at the stop, the three of them got off the bus and entered a farmer's market. Since Tian Wangchuan had already agreed to Xiao Chen's request, Su Chuxia thought that it was a matter of success or failure. So she didn't reject him anymore. Instead, she followed behind and watched Xiao Chen purchase one by one. However, what surprised Tian Wangchuan was that Xiao Chen actually bought all the ingredients for the dishes she mentioned just now. He didn't miss a single one. Tian Wangchuan couldn't help but admire him. As expected of a straight-A student. His memory was so good. But did he know how to make them? Su Chuxia couldn't help but wonder as she watched Xiao Chen buy things. Was this person a hedonistic son of a rich family? Not only was he good at studying, but he also knew how to buy groceries. Looking at Xiao Chen's proficiency in bargaining and choosing, it was simply something that a person who often bought groceries would do. This made Su Chuxia wonder if Xiao Chen wasn't a bad student. But, even if he wasn't, Su Chuxia didn't want to be in a relationship. Firstly, she didn't want to be in a relationship. Secondly, she also knew some things about her father. She knew that some people who wanted to date and pursue her might have ulterior motives. So Su Chuxia was usually very careful. This was also the reason why, after buying the ingredients, Xiao Chen said to Tian Wangchuan, I bought everything you said. What else do you want to eat? I don't want to eat anymore. Tian Wangchuan said weakly. It wasn't easy to mess with a straight-A student. She followed Xiao Chen into the neighborhood and went up to the 5th building. Finally, they stopped at the 4th floor. This time, Su Chuxia was really a little surprised. It was actually also the 4th floor? It echoed with her own room? Was this also a coincidence? Xiao Chen opened the door and said, I'll go cook. You guys sit anywhere you want. You can watch TV. Oh, go ahead. Sister Wangchuan can do it herself. Tian Wangchuan waved her hand at Xiao Chen and dismissed him. Xiao Chen nodded and walked into the kitchen to busy himself. Tian Wangchuan fell on the sofa, turned on the TV and watched it. She found that Xiao Chen's house actually had an internet TV box, So she found her favorite TV and watched it. Su Chuxia was a little curious about the man's house, so she wandered around the house and walked into a room. It was obviously Xiao Chen's bedroom. However, when Su Chuxia saw the telescope by the window sill, her face suddenly fell. This was because the telescope was pointed in the direction of her house. Su Chuxia suppressed her anger and walked over to look through the telescope. Sure enough, her room, living room, and even dining room could be seen clearly. Now, Su Chuxia finally understood how Xiao Chen could accurately see her in the morning. It turned out that he was peeping. Although Su Chuxia thought that she was very careful and wouldn't let Xiao Chen see anything that he shouldn't see, the feeling of being watched really made her very uncomfortable. After hesitating for a moment, Su Chuxia couldn't help but quickly rush out of the room and went straight to the kitchen where Xiao Chen was. Tian Wangchuan saw Su Chuxia come out of the room and go to the kitchen, but she didn't care. She thought that she went to negotiate with Xiao Chen, so she continued to watch TV. Xiao Chang. Su Chuxia glared at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was washing vegetables when he suddenly saw Su Chuxia rush in angrily. He was a little puzzled. What's wrong? Xiao Chang, you're so despicable. Su Chuxia said angrily. Why are you so dirty? Me? Despicable and dirty? Xiao Chen looked at Su Chuxia in shock. What do you mean by that? You were secretly peeping at me with the telescope in your room, right? Su Chuxia saw that Xiao Chen didn't know anything and was even more annoyed. You're a big pervert. That you're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.